hell do I share this thing? All right, we got the chat. All right. We're settled in. Literally, the last time I live streamed was this time last year. The details that had changed out was our second round live stream, which ended with the Philadelphia Eagles getting Cooper DeJean, where I lost my you-know-what. But we're going to have a good time here. What up, Tim? Oh, my God, we got a mod. Dusty moderator. Hasn't modded since the 2 streams I did last year. And usually by the end of the stream, and like by the end of every time I stream, I literally go, that was kind of fun. I wish I streamed more. Oh, it's so hard, dude. It's just so hard. Streaming and being full-time content creator during the day, like the 9 to 5, and then also being like, hey, content create at night from like, you know, it's just... But I have a second channel, More C4. Uploading a bunch of like Eagles-specific draft content over there. But those videos did well enough that like I very quickly got that channel the ability to live stream. Because I've heard like the biggest thing, and I can bite the bullet here because this is few and far between, but the biggest thing is you don't want to live stream on YouTube on the channel that you like mainly upload your videos. There's always been solid rumors to, you know, it just hurts your video performance. I don't need that. But now that I have a secondary channel, if there's a way that I can like host it on this main channel to kind of show it to my audience, but then I just have that second channel to stream. Because honestly, and I'm not just saying that because like, oh, I want to do Madden streams and college football streams. I do think that would be fun. I'd love to get back to like, you know, 5. Literally, before I had kids, we would stream maybe once or twice a week. I did some Ultimate Team. We did some franchise mode. We did pink slips on it. It was always fun. Always a great time. For me, from a business standpoint, there is, you know, a revenue opportunity there. I honestly think my franchise content is like, it'd be better being in like a stream format. I think it just, you know, my personality, not to gas my own self up, I think it could be conducive to a stream. I don't know. Don't have the time. Long way before we get into everything now draft is me just welcoming you to the stream. I have a second channel, More C4, which has streaming, because the biggest thing looming in my life as it relates to content creation is what the hell am I going to do when GTA comes out? Because when the new GTA Online comes out, that's all I'm going to want to play, right? It's going to be, you know, that's going to come out, right around when, like, Madden and college football starts to get a little old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need somewhere that I can hopefully keep the lights on by playing GTA, because that's going to consume my life. And now that I have that streaming opportunity on the second channel, but I just want it on YouTube. I don't like Twitch. I'm not a big fan of how Twitch has worked. I like YouTube. That's where I want to be. So plan is, and I say it every year, it never comes true, but this year, because GTA, and I think that's going to be a problem that I need to address in my life. More C4, my second channel. Link is in the video description, I think. We're very close. I think we're on our way to 5,000 subscribers over there. That is where I plan on streaming when I do stream. All right, well, I mean, hey, let's get in the draft. I still am like a monitor short for like an ideal setup for what we're doing here. Like on my one monitor, I just have the NFL.com draft tracker. And then on my main monitor, I have like half it, my recording software, half of it. We're going to be using the bottom ticker there of NFL Network. Took me 40 minutes to figure out how to get the screens like this. Not a streamer. But I think we're in a great spot here. So I'm looking, and now I'm gonna have to go off the comments on my phone because I'm limited on screens. Spartan was first. Let's go. Only missed once. Jalen Walker to Atlanta. That's an interesting one. I think Falcons definitely going defense. I thought it was surprising looking at the visits. They seem to do a lot of homework on Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, and expectations that he could fall a little bit here tonight. But I definitely will say I think Atlanta goes defense. It will not be a Michael Penix situation this season. Spartan is a 49ers fan. I'm poking fun. I mean, hey, 49. What are the Niners looking for? Lines, trenches, O-line, D-line? You think Philly could trade out, get a second round and some picks in the future? I am terrified that is going to be the situation here because I am doing this stream with the secondary goal to react to the Eagles pick. With the Eagles, I don't know why. You got anyone know in the chat why Philly's picking at 32? Like, why do I have to wait all night for the Eagles to make their first round pick? I don't know football. It doesn't make sense. Why do we have to wait all the way 32? We're the best team. We shouldn't be picking last. It's weird. Like, what? Why is there a reason why we have to pick at 32? But I think the stream goes to midnight, so that's 10, 11, 12. That's 3 hours. Plus, it might go overtime a little bit because these guys like to milk the clock all 10 minutes. It drives me nuts. I actually want to pay attention this season, this draft, this first round. Take note of what teams don't run the clock, and those are going to be teams that I'm going to be a lot more favorable to me next season. I'll tell you right now, if the Dallas Cowboys make their pick with like 7 minutes left on the clock, I'm going to reward that efficiency, and I'll put them ahead in my power rankings over like the Commanders, just because draft efficiency is a predecessor to upcoming season success. If you're one of these teams, especially when it's the number one team that you run that clock, you know who that pick is. Okay? There's no first round trades happening this year for the number one overall pick. Like the Titans, if they don't get that Cam Ward selection in with like 5 minutes or less, like I'll give them that window. 5 to 4 minutes of that first pick. If it's not in by then and it goes over that, the Titans are winning 2 games next season. I guarantee it. Because that's a team that's a bullshit team. They're just an absolute bullshit team. Bird's going to get either Trey Amos or James Pierce. Amos was brought in for a visit. I like him. I like him more in the second round than I would first round. But, and this is something that's unfortunately hurt my content. Philly has been when Philly was so bad at drafting, it was like, oh, baby. I almost went into the draft 70% wanting a good player, good pick, I'd be fine with. But there's also that 30% of like, if we can make an absolute meme out of this, that's going to be good for the workplace. Now, Howie Roseman's completely rebuilt his reputation. Like, he's maybe one of the hottest, if not the hottest. So hot right now. Howie, so hot. Drafters in the NFL that, like, I can't outright shit on his picks. Like, almost feels like trying to shit on Howie Roseman pick is like trying to be a hipster, trying to be a football hipster and just do something against the grain. Secondarily, like, if we go offensive line this year, I think that's kind of a little bit of a bummer pick. At right guard, we lose Mekhi Becton, but we make the trade for Kenyon Green, giving up CJ GJ and all his picks. We have Tyler Steen, who, big-time athlete. Not, we're going to reference Raz. If you don't know what Raz is, you're probably going to be lost in the woods here a little bit throughout this program. It's like the relative athletic score. And I don't have enough screens to have also that screen available, so I'm going to be trying to go off memory. But I know like what players are like a 9+. And I don't know what guys are like the 9.9s, 10s, 9.8s. But Tyler Steen's like a 9.7. So we have two really interesting options at right guard. Is Philly going to draft a guard in the first round? That'd be a bummer. Is Philly going to draft a tackle in the first round? Lane Johnson says he wants to play a couple more years. Jordan Mailata is fine. We could look at a swing tackle. Do you look at that in the first round? A guy that might not see the field for another 2-3 years? It's like that Jason Kelce situation again, where it's like, oh, let's draft a guy and then also hope the legend that's still awesome retires so it can almost justify that draft pick selection. But we know Philly likes to build in the trenches, so if they draft lineman tonight, I can't shit over that pick because it's what we do, and it means Jeff Stoutland, the most respected offensive line coach in the game, was like, Howie, go get this guy. I know it might not be the best value right now. I know he might sit and wait. That guy's going to be an incredible player. We got to trust Stoutland. The inverse of that, which makes this year, if you're looking for me to just destroy all over the Eagles pick, and that's why we're going to circle back around to the initial Trey Amos selection. Don't love him in the second round. Don't love him in the first round, but if it's the second round, is what it is that we got Vic Fangio. We now have that old guy on defense for what he did for the Eagles last year. If he drafts someone that's like, that's kind of against consensus, how much can you really shit over it? Because this guy here is the guy that found Zach Bond out of nowhere and made him into a baller. Had Nakobe Dean's best season at linebacker. Got Oren Burks off the street didn't even notice he was on the field, but he started the whole freaking Super Bowl. Where a year ago, he was on the 49ers and got picked on. It was like maybe one of the biggest reasons why the Niners lost that game. Right? So, if Vic likes a linebacker, we overdraft a linebacker, got to trust him. What did we have at corner last year? Oh, we just got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. First, second round picks, slam dunks. As slam dunk as any picks the Eagles ever had. So if Philly goes at corner a little early this year, Maxwell Hairston, Trey Amos. It's like, I don't know. I don't really love the value there, but if Vic likes it, we got to like it. So, not a lot of opportunities for me to outright just hate if you're here to see if I'm going to lose my mind over the Eagles pick. And I think we need to be a little bit positive. I think if I'm going to lose my mind, it's going to be like last year when out of nowhere they traded up for Cooper DeJean, and it's like an all-time let's friggin' go celebration. Now also, I'm just going to skip that. Because I'm looking at the comments on my phone, I didn't know YouTube has ads. So I'm getting the same ads you guys get, and I'm also from New York, the Brooklyn Brawler. If I get too many ads on my own stream where I'm making money, I'm going to be upset at myself. I'm literally going to start this fucking guy needs to turn off ads. And it's me because I'm watching my stream to see the chat because I don't have enough screens here. And I want to stream a lot more. I think I have what it takes to be a professional full-time streamer. But also, I'm getting my own fucking ads on this video and can't see the chat on my phone. And then we have Roger Goodell riding a bike. Please fall! Please fall on that bike. Oh, man, he does not look super confident. That floor looks slick. I'm teaching my son and my daughter right now to learn how to ride a bike. I'm not getting great confidence there to Goodell. But if he slipped on that bike, did the Peter Griffin, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of them on bikes, and some of them are not very confident. Oh my God. James Jones. Is that Lil Wayne on a bike? Someone fall. Oh my God, please someone fall. Oh, I forgot Lil Wayne's a Green Bay Packers fan. So yeah, full disclosure, I already had an energy drink during the day when I was working, so I didn't want to get a second energy drink. Mold. I wanted a Blue Mountain Dew. I don't know the flavor, but I wanted a Blue Mountain Dew, and of course my store didn't have one, so I got a Kickstart to kickstart the stream. Kickstart the 2025 NFL Draft. Also, I was right after supper, I was like, you know what? I should probably start this stream an hour before. Let's just get everyone going. Have enough time to get everyone in. Everyone right now, there's a bunch of people streaming the draft. I'm just a very small piece. Maybe give them a little bit longer to decide if they want to hang out here or not. I think the vibes are going to be very strong. I was like, I'm going to do all that. I'm going to start the stream an hour before. I went outside, had a salad, forgot, put this energy drink in the deep freeze, forgot, it's kind of slushy right now, kind of badass, fell ass backwards in that one, which is going to be strong. Strong vibes for this draft, because if I fall ass backwards into a kind of a half slushy hybrid Mountain Dew Kickstart energy drink, there's going to be a team tonight that's going to fall ass backwards into an outstanding pick. Nice. We're over 100 people. Sick. Thank you. I don't know how much we had last stream. Again, I don't stream, so I'm not expecting. 50 people would be cool. I think last year we were having like close to 200 when the Eagles picked. It was 3, 4, 500, and then everyone leave. Still appreciate it. Corey just hopped on. As he brought up, when is Pigs coming back? It's coming. Pigs is what it is. Not something that I have to, not half. Pigs something that I'm not going to prioritize over other things. And now we're going to have 32 realistic rebuilds after the fallout of this weekend's draft. That's going to be the premier content. Pink Slips just happens when I have time during the week and have not. I mean, it was Easter. Like, I think the last upload was like a day or two before Easter last week. And then I had Easter. And it will be coming soon. What day's today? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll be out next week. We'll be back. Pink Slip. It ain't going anywhere. It's just it's a series when I get to it. James Schmidt, do you see? I'm catching up on the chat right now before the clock starts. I'm going to catch up on the chat as best I can. James Schmidt, do you see Philly trading up for anyone like a blue chip D lineman? Candidates, I would love to see Philly trade up for Walter Nolan, Malachi Starks, especially because I feel like those are going to be the two guys that are like going to be like 17, 18 of the draft, and we're like, this is trade upable. You know what I'm saying? Those would probably be the two right now. And then there's obviously, if someone free fall, if there's a Jalen Carter, which I don't think there will be, but like if somehow Jalen Walker didn't test this offseason, so maybe that's going to fall, like edge rush linebacker, that could be Georgia Bulldog. That could be like a surprise trade up. Honestly, like if Mason Graham falls, I think he went to 13 in Peter Schrager's last, like guys like that, like blue chip guys that like we're just sitting here going, how are they falling? Trade, I'd love to see how we make a move, be aggressive. Herbie, do you really think Cam Ward's going to change much for the Titans? I mean, honestly, you put all the clock started, baby. Let's go. I like Cam Ward more than I would like Will Levis going into next season. Like you said, all things equal. No draft pick, nothing attached to it. Game one, do I want Will Levis or Cam Ward starting quarterback for Tennessee? I think 99.9% of people, including Gia Duddy, would pick Cam Ward in that situation. But, I mean, it's just, I would say, honestly, I don't think, Cam Ward to the Titans, that Titans roster. Now, they've weirdly signed, like, some win-now veterans, which they just got Tyler Lockett, I think. I think any quarterback in this year's draft on that Titans team, I'd be shocked if they still don't have a top 10 pick next year. So you can make the argument that if you don't love the quarterbacks this year, you don't think Cam Ward's going to be a game changer at quarterback. I'd say, like, my vibes right now, I don't know if he's going to be a game changer. Could he be like a Jared Goff? A guy that's like, man, he's solid. He can go for 30 touchdowns. I don't know. I think there could be an argument that, like, this season, that Titans team is so not just a quarterback away that Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, like a blue chip. I think that's just the thing. Cam Ward's not a blue chip prospect. So if you're Tennessee, do you go blue chip guy at 1 and then take a swing at next year's quarterback class or next year's free agent class? I think it's a valid discussion to have. And I would say if I was a Titan fan, that would probably be my vibes right now. My vibes would be, let's go best player available this year because maybe next year a quarterback kind of emerges as blue chip. God, another ad! I'm going to lose my mind on my own stream. Albert Breer mentioned Emeka Egbuka as a potential Eagles pick. There was a mock draft, 32-team mock draft on the draft Reddit. And I remember when the Eagles picked at 32, I picked Luther Burden. Didn't get upvoted the most. They didn't know who I was. But I do think wide receiver, we don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver. And I think there's a very likely scenario that at pick 32, you can make the argument that the best player available is a wide receiver. If Amika Ibuka and Luther Burden are still there at 32, we decline the 5th-year option of Jahad Dotson. Do we, over those two guys, do I love Johnny Wilson or Terrace Marshall over them? No. So if something happens, we stayed pretty healthy last year. Something happens to AJ or Devontae, suddenly maybe going BPA if it's a really good, legit first-round wide receiver in the first round doesn't seem so luxury of a pick. But the optics of it would be pretty harsh. Gotta get YouTube Premium. Wow. Oh, it's Jalen. You like Sanders with Pickens and DK. I like that. If that happens, obviously you're gonna imagine Shedeur Sanders will be pretty upset. He'd be 21. Going from a guy that's like, could he be the first overall pick, fall in 21? But I think even in, he won't say it because you want to go as high as possible, the branding. I think in your head, would you rather be the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, Saints, or would you rather be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that literally makes the playoffs every year, regardless of the quarterback play? You're going to be the starter. Got a great head coach, and you got head cases at wide receiver, but you got two guys that if you can get them on the same page, and I think that's a strength. I think Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback that can get those guys on the same page. That's easy. They got a nice offensive line. Broderick Jones, across the board. Broderick Jones, they got the center last year, the right guard, McCormick. You got Fautano coming back. That's a young offensive line that should be there for the next 3 to 4 years and only getting better. Maybe questionable run game this season. Could address that in the draft. Steelers can go all offense. Imagine going Shedeur Sanders in the first round, and then you can get an Amarian Hampton in the second round if he falls a little bit. Or one of the Ohio State running backs. And it's Jesus Christ. Fry him with a tight end. He's going to a playoff team. He's inheriting a playoff team. So that'll be my one slightly spicy take. I will say that's my spicy take. And it's not even that spicy. Is that if Cam Ward goes to the Titans here, and Shedeur Sanders goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, is it? I think it'd be the popular pick. Shedeur will probably have better stats. Will look like the better pick. Maybe you'll value Cam Ward doing less is more if he looks halfway decent in Tennessee. But at the end of the day, Shedeur going to the Pittsburgh Steelers is probably going to be the betting favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. When the line, who else would be more favorable? Genty, right? But the league hates running backs. If Genty has if he goes to Vegas or Jacksonville or whatever, it's going to be tough for him to have an elite rookie season because those are just dog shit teams. But Genty is so undeniable. Maybe pound for pound the best player in this class. He'll be very good. But does a very good running back season beat a good quarterback season? There's always just quarterback bias. But if not Shedeur, if Genty's number 1 for Offensive Rookie of the Year, Shedeur would be number 2 if he goes to Pittsburgh. What's this thing? Goal. Make a super chat more fun with the goal. Nope, that's stupid. Let's get this picking. Oh, did we see what time that was? The timer? Anybody? I feel like the Titans didn't really run that one down. So the first overall pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select. I got a lip read, Roger Goodell. Cam Ward, quarterback from Miami. Now, true thoughts on Cam Ward. Not a hot take. I do think he's the best quarterback in this class. Everyone knows it's not a particularly great quarterback class. He had a productive season last year with 40 touchdowns, Almost 70% completion percentage. A lot of things. He can scramble. Doesn't have to, but can. I think... Like, is Tennessee going to go super heavy with the RPOs this year? Kind of like RPO. Also, I think a big thing with Cam Ward, and not just be like, look at his highlights. But when you look at it, like his best highlights, his the coolest things, it's like, oh, look how like he literally is like on Somas in the, or I don't even know what that would be in today's. Go watch Wolf of Wall Street, you'll get it. It looks like he's on Somas in the pocket. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm just gonna be chill. He's so chill. He's vibing in the pocket and then makes an excellent throw. Is he going to be able to do that behind Tennessee Titans' offensive line? You know? What is the Titans' line? You got Skoronski. You got J.C. Latham. And that's all I can name. Maybe I'm missing like someone that was good or some guy that graded it well by PFF. But I don't know, man. That's very interesting. But at the end of the day, this is, how much you're going to be able to really discuss this pick. And is this site going to update? Don't tell me I need to refresh. I'm going to refresh once, and I bet it's going to break the freaking stream. No, we'll leave it. We'll leave it if it doesn't update. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars trading up to the number 2 pick. This has got to be Travis Hunter. Does it, though? Could it be Ashton Genty? There's the surprise. So what do we got here? The Jags get pick 2, a 4th, and a 6th. The Browns get 5th. What? The Browns get a 5th, a 2nd, a 4th, and a future 1st. That is, I don't want to say that's an overpay. Okay, I'm going to refresh this. Why is this not working? Boom, come on. This better freak. There we go. That looks good, though. That looks like it'll work. 2 firsts for Travis Hunter? Is that what we're talking about here? Like, who are they getting? Man, this site is terrible. They're showing Travis Hunter. They got Lil Wayne chilling with Travis Hunter. Talon, where the impact pole band? I got to get them set. Get them set. I would put them like right there. I'd hang them, all 5 of them. Soon to be, all 4, soon to be 5. Wow. Jags on the clock. I mean, to get it's the value. I just feel like, who was the last non-quarterback that a team traded multiple first-round picks for? I remember Julio Jones was one. Like, I'm going way back for the Falcons. There's probably been another that I'm just going to be brain farting. Told you what happened before the stream, right? We're here to have good time, not for a long time. But I know Julio was one. That worked out. Like, is Travis Hunter generational athlete, but a guy that's like, is he worth whatever? And look, yeah, absolutely, Tim. Classic Jags. Make the trade up and then be like, oh, actually, shit, who are we picking? It's like a Tim Robinson sketch. Like, okay, we made this huge trade, right? And then they're like, okay, who are we getting? Send it in here. We got the trade. And then they're like, oh, shit. It's our pick. They weren't paying attention. They're like that taco during your fantasy football draft where you're like, all right, it's going to be your pick. You're going next. And like, okay. And then somehow when it's their pick, they're like, oh, don't know what's happened. Like it was Ashton Genty or Travis Hunter. We're kind of like the 2, right? And there's no way you're trading 2 first-round picks for Ashton Genty. Has to be, they think Travis Hunter is going to be that baseball guy that played Ohtani. Don't know his first name, but I know his name's Ohtani. Like, if they think he's going to be a generational, like, it's going to translate, which, good luck. It'd be cool if it does. I don't think it will, but I'm not going to be I don't think it will. that I don't want to just admit that I hope it is, because I'd be so sick to see a player like that. But it's still just like, are you trading 2 first-round picks for the best corner in the draft? Like, I don't even think a team would trade 2 first-round picks for, like, Jalen Ramsey the year that he was coming out of Florida State. And he was like a can't-miss corner. Like, corner's not a position you trade 2 first-round picks for. Wide receiver, again, going back to Julio Jones, you can trade 2 first-round picks for a game-changing wide receiver. Is Travis Hunter good enough at wide receiver to be that game-changing, can't-miss wide receiver that you trade those picks? I think, like, Ryan Williams, I think the dude from Ohio State, those are guys that, like, right now, they look like pro-ready. They literally look like an NFL guy out of high school. I don't know why I'm blanking on the Ohio State guy. Is Travis Hunter that good of a wide receiver to be like, oh, he's like Julio Jones coming? Like, I don't think so. So I think, honestly, overpay. I think if I could have, there's just no way you would. If I could have been the Jags and, like, you made that trade up, but you didn't give that extra first. Like, if you paid that second-round pick, your second-round pick, which is a top 5 pick in the second round, to move up a couple spots, I'd be like, okay, that's interesting. But then, obviously, then you have the other side of the coin. Like, Browns fans would be losing their freaking mind that they didn't get multiple first-round picks. So let's see what we got here. Dude, this is, I don't know. I think, honestly, looking at the entirety of the board, the only player that is worth 2 first-round picks would be Abdul Carter, I think, in my opinion. Just based off positional value and scarcity. Let's see. So maybe I turn my audio on just a little bit. I'm going to turn it on just a little bit so I can hear it. So we got Eric Armstead out there. Is he on the Jags now? Austin, Jeremiah Smith. Yes, thank you. See, I got to get locked in here. Got to get back in football mind. Man pleaser, they traded 5th pick, the second round pick this year, a couple day 3 picks, but it's basically 5th pick, first round next year, and their second round pick this year to move up from 5 to 2. My gut says it is going to be Travis Hunter. But again, I think the only player you can make like a nice argument is they have to leapfrog the Giants if they want Abdul Carter. And Abdul Carter is the blue chip guy that I think, okay, 2 first-round picks to go get him. All right, this second overall pick is brought to you by sponsored content. While you're in here, typical YouTuber thing, hit that like button. Help me get up the list of people searching draft stuff. That'd be cool.
We have a trade. The Cleveland Browns have traded the 2nd pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the 2nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
Wow, Travis Hunter. Dude. I hope it works out. That's all I can say. That is... That is expensive. All I'm going to say, it's expensive. If Travis Hunter somehow becomes a wide receiver 2 and a corner 1 and does things we've never seen and plays every snap and he's good, then we're like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess he is worth 2 picks because we've never seen a player like this. If, thinking about it, the way that I've spoke about Travis Hunter, I talked about him going potentially to the Giants. I think the only way for him to play 2 positions is he has to be a corner full-time because how many, like you have wide receivers that are specialists. Your deep threats, the guys who take the top off the defense, your slot guys, your big slot guys that have 10 plays a week, 8 to 10 plays a week. That is a norm in the NFL. Travis Hunter could do that. You absolutely can have Travis Hunter as your wide receiver 2. You have Brian Thomas, who's your clear wide receiver 1, and then you have him be the full-time corner. Because how many full-time outside corners? Like, you're not going to put him in the nickel. So how many part-time outside corners, starting corners do you have? Like, none ever. So I think that is, you got to view him as a corner first. I can play some wide receiver. And that's just my opinion. Who knows what the Jags are going to do? But if that's what you're doing, corner 2, corner 1, anyway, they still got Tyson Campbell there. And then you're going to have a be wide receiver 2 to Brian Thomas. Is that worth 2 first-round picks? Now, I think the trade compensation is going to get shit on here. And I think the Jags had to overpay for them being in the purgatory spot. How many mock drafts? How many times if you just did it, right? You do Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell right now kind of seems like the popular pick to the Patriots, right? So the Jags are sitting there at 5, and they're in that peak like, shit. Do they go Genty? Skip ad. Unbelievable. To finish my point, Jags sitting there at 5 are like kind of screwed. They didn't like Mason Graham. They didn't like, they're just like, we're not a running back away to get Ashton Genty, which I think a lot of these teams that want Ashton Genty need to consider. Saquon Barkley and the Giants. Almost all these teams right now, they're being mocked getting Genty. Like, unless he falls to the Bears. If Genty goes to the Raiders. If he goes to, Jesus, I don't know. Like, the Bears are the only team that I think are in, like, the ballpark of, like, you can go get Genty, and I think, like, there you go, boom, get going. So, my point being, Jags hate where they're at. They're arguably in the worst spot in this whole draft in terms of, like, they have a pick that they can't miss on, but they're going to miss all the blue chip guys. So, like, maybe everyone knew that, and they're like, hey, if you want to get out of that death spot, you're going to have to overpay for it. And, maybe kudos for them being aggressive and not just saying, shucks, we'll stay at 5 and then take whatever slops left. Now, the thing that was just kind of funny is Travis Hunter said on the stage that he never met. Now, the Jags, we know the Jags and the Rams. So the Rams historically have never, like, done visits, which is, like, a huge thing. Like, for the Eagles, literally every time someone came for a top 30 visit, I would spend at least, like, 45 minutes, like, just kind of looking at cut-ups of the guy, looking at his athletic profile, doing a little homework. Rams don't do that. And the Jags hired away a guy from the Rams, and then Hunter's like, I didn't even talk to him outside of the combine. Like, that is bizarre. To be like, we're going to trade multiple first-round picks for a guy that we didn't even bring in for a visit. Like, just AE-dub. That's all I can say about the Jags. Very weird. But ultimately, to put a pin in it, pick is in for the New York Giants. Regardless of compensation, regardless of what are we doing, Jags. Travis Hunter's awesome. Pulling for him. Want him to be awesome. Whatever he ends up playing, be it wide receiver, corner, trying both. Him being good is good for the league because Jags are a nothing franchise. Sorry if you're a Jag fan. Look, I guarantee there's almost 200 people in here. No Jag fans, okay? So I'm not going to be offending anyone. But if you are a Jag fan, no one gives a shit about the Jags. No, not a single shit. Travis Hunter becomes good, start giving a shit. Starts making those stupid London games at 10 a.m. a little more interesting because now you can watch Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. All right, let's go Giants. Vegas odds have been Abdul Carter. You draft Abdul Carter, there it is. So you get Abdul Carter, Eagles super fan. Enjoy that. Sit on that, Giant fans. No matter what, he's never going to love you as much as he loves us. Okay? No matter what he says. This guy stand the Eagles almost as hard as I did this entire playoff run. And now he's going to the Giants. Like, every time, man, he's going to be like, oh, Jesus. That's like the ultimate bird. Just know he does not love you as much as he loves us.
Abdul Carter, to me, there's two big-time elite players, whatever order you have them between Hunter and Carter, those are the guys. Big-time burst off the line of scrimmage. He just reminds me a little bit of Von Miller, the way he can bend and the speed that he has off the line. These what's going to happen there. Right now, there's 3 great pass rushers. He may be the replacement if Thibodeau's not there anymore. So this is a big-time move for them. And by the way, Rich, you're from New York. Yes, sir. Is it not baked in? I know you're a Jets guy. Is it not baked in the DNA of Giants fans to chant defense? That's a big deal for them to get back to playing defense the way the Giants have done it in the past. Abdul Carter helps get them there.
Giants fans enjoying that pick. It's the 7th Penn State player selected in the top 3. The Giants have taken the last 2. Saquon Barkley of 2018, and then Abdul Carter joining a fellow Stick City guy in the NFC East.
Well, he had 11 from day one at Penn State. James Franklin knew what he had when he came in as a true freshman. He gave him that number, which means everything on that side of the football there at State College. And I'll tell you, I think he's going to be a great Giant. He's going to be disruptive. He only played 1 year, guys, on the edge, and he was that disruptive behind the line of scrimmage. He's only going to develop in terms of his pass rushing moves and the way that he can get after the quarterback.
So, we're back. Abdul Carter. Man, that's one of those,
I also want to go back to when the season ended and we saw the official draft.
you know,
We looked at those 2 teams at 2 and 3, Cleveland and the Giants.
think it looks weird with Abdul Carter because, like, what? Well, you know, they already got Brian Burns. Brian Burns started. How much they paid for the trade? How much they paid for the contract? And then you had Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side. I felt like he played a little bit better last season, but to this point, Kayvon Thibodeau has been underperforming. And if you don't think he's going to be your long-term guy, you don't like look at him as a starter. Like, well, maybe he'll get a little bit better. You go get a blue chip guy on a rookie contract for the next 4 seasons. Now the Giants kind of suck, so maybe it'll be a 5-year deal. They drag it out like Micah Parsons. That is for another story. But I think that's the right call. Don't go quarterback. I think people are talking Bengals loving this pick. I mean, I can only imagine. I always wish it was Shador just to see what it. This pick, I always think anybody but a quarterback at this pick, most Giant fans would be very happy. But you get blue chip player. That's who I thought Jags were trading up for the 2 firsts. Fall to your lap for the Giants, and I think you deal with figuring out Kayvon Thibodeau later. You know, prioritizing the pick right now, getting the best guy in. He's the starter, and then just figuring out how to deal with Thibodeau makes a whole lot of sense. He's a beast, man. He's an absolute beast. Now, I've seen some Giant fans on Twitter be like, we can go NASCAR package, have all 3 of them on the field. Thibodeau's got to get. Now, I'm going to just spin this for Eagle fan. What if Philly trades for Kayvon Thibodeau? Huh? Is that the next reclamation project? Does Vic Fangio see that and be like, hey, we'll give you Bryce Huff. We'll take Thibodeau off the books for, or something like that. We like former Giants.
Congratulations to him, and congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This may be one of their best draft nights in recent memory. They make the big splash, and we're going to break for the first time on a team other than Jacksonville. See, it's not you, it's us, is basically what we're saying.
The small business days are back. Our experts closer than you think.
C4, as a Cowboys fan, who would you not want them to get? I will be honest. I had my last mock draft. T-Mac, McMillan from Arizona. No, don't want them to get wide receiver help. I'd rather Jerry like O-line, D-line.
April 21st to 27th. Don't wait. Get started today.
Jahdae Barron. Go Jahdae Barron. Don't go McMillan. That'd probably be the number 1 guy. Or like if Genty falls with him. Keep the skill positions out of there. I'll be fine with anything else. Tim, do you think you guys want like Dallas Goedert? You think you guys can like give us something there for Dallas Goedert, please, Colts? Cleveland is now okay. Now the Browns. This is an interesting pick. We got to see who the Patriots go because I think the Browns could be interested in a tackle. Like Browns could go Membu. Browns could go. I mean, they could still go fucking quarterback. Shador, if they wanted to.
And I like to sleep even cooler. I really like it when we both get what we want.
Who we got? Is this like how's this thing work? We still got best remaining. So let's see. Browns. They could go Genty. Nick Chubb's gone. Just go. We're getting the best guy. We know we are a team that can run the football. It's in their identity. Could go Mason Graham. Could go Jalen Walker. I mean, it's kind of wide open. But I would, if I had to guess, I mean, we got to see who the Patriots go. The Patriots go Will Campbell. I would say Membu Genti. Like, if they think Genti could carry this offense that won't have a quarterback next year, it could be happening. What's up, Bandito? Maybe the Raiders take Sanders. They could. They think that Shador's 2 years away. Seems like they got 2 years of Geno. I think we need to embrace that again. Everyone in the whole league for a while shifted to, like, we have to win with a quarterback on a rookie contract. Like, that is our Super Bowl window. I think maybe we reset that a little bit. Maybe go back to the Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, sitting the guy for a year or two until they're clearly ready. Like, treat these guys as, like, I don't know what teams, I don't know what sports like that. Kind of soccer. I think maybe hockey's like that. Hockey's like that because sometimes you see first-round picks like go to farm teams. Baseball's probably like that. But in soccer, you buy a young player, first-round pick, you're going to loan him to a smaller team. Just because he's not ready for the big show, but, like, let's just get him in the system, get him involved. Maybe we'll bring that back to some draft picks here. They'll give me a one-punch-away Quiznos punch card and a seventh for Goddard. I think our only Quiznos shut down a couple years ago. Salmonella. Just rampant. No deal. I cannot wait for college football 26. All right, we got the Patriots. Will Campbell was Vegas favorite. And it is Will Campbell. Vegas was right. T-Rex arms and all. But I'm also someone that, like, I don't have short arms, but I definitely don't have long arms. And my average arms stand out with people with long arms. So I don't know where Will Campbell's coming from, but also, if I was a UFC fighter, my reach would probably not be an advantage. So I get, like, not having that huge wingspan and people being like, hey, your arms are too short. He's like, I've been the best tackle in football for the last 2 years, and now you're saying my arms are too short? And I think that's how I'd view that pick for the New England Patriots. He is a tackle until he is not. And protecting Drake May is priority number one. We're happy with that. Everyone knows I am a Drake May fan. And I'm going to take a swig here of a huge water bottle. Brown should trade back again. It says pick is in, but I agree. If they could just keep playing that trade down lottery, they are not a season away. But then also, are Brown fans even going to be optimistic that they can make the most out of all these future picks? But that is cool now. Like, that makes Cleveland a very interesting, like, Madden rebuild now, on top of just them being bad, and they would be interesting anyway, because now you have a team that you have 2 first-round picks next year. It also makes the Jags interesting, because they're going to be that much harder, because they don't have that first-round pick next year. And I think, one thing, though, just in context to Madden, do you think they're going to, like, they have to do something for, like, the depth charts of having Travis Hunter play both this position? Because, like, right now, you can't have a corner play wide receiver. So I hope they kind of open up complete depth chart customizations because of Travis Hunter. And I also say Travis Hunter's so cool that we should totally make him the cover athlete for Madden 26 and not Saquon Barkley, please. I have 0.001% pull at EA, and I'm going to use every bit of that to be like, you guys don't want Saquon Barkley on the cover. He was on a super team. It wasn't that impressive. You need either the MVP or someone like Travis Hunter that's going to sell the back-of-the-box feature that we have two-way players.
Along with this draft choice, as Mike Vrabel's first draft choice as the new HC of the New England Patriots, it's time to welcome Will Campbell to Primetime, presented by Nationwide. Jamie?
Will, you are Mr. Louisiana.
Jordy! Jordy! Tell you what, Jordy, you better have that Mo Money beard cut that Will Campbell's rocking next time I see you. The Will Campbell. He's loving it, dude. This guy is loving the draft. He loves that he's number 4. C4, Kayvon Thibodeau for Dallas Goedert, straight up. Done. Done. I'm in.
We can feel that. We absolutely can feel
As a Browns fan, please anyone but a quarterback.
Protect Drake May.
I mean, they could go McMillan, T-Mac.
I'm gonna fight and die to protect them with everything I got.
Congratulations, Will.
This is interesting. This is like the first, we could assume when the Jags trade up, it was for Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. This is probably the first pick that was just like, who the hell? Like, no one had the Browns picking here, so it's not like you have that mock draft muscle memory.
Browns next at 5. My understanding is they got several calls up from teams about potentially trading back.
Rappaport saying right now that the Browns get a lot of calls about potentially re-trading back.
Once the Browns ended then obviously Abdul Carter went to the Giants. Don't rule out
I would. I mean, I don't know what the value is. You're probably going to get, who would be trying to trade up right now?
Shador Sanders.
Someone for a quarterback, Shador. Someone for Genty, potentially leapfrog the Raiders, or for Membu, the tackle. I would just keep trading back. I'd treat it like Madden. Every pick for this first round, trade all the way back to like the 20s, and acquire so many second and third round picks. So I don't think for 5 you're getting another first, but you could get like a second this year, second next year, to move down 15 spots. I'd do it. Because the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks are Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. But looking at it, if I had to just say right now, who's the pick? If I'm the Browns, I just say, I think, fun pick, fuck it pick, Ashton Genty. If not, Membu at tackle, rebuild the trenches up there a little bit. He could plug and play at right tackle. You look at the athletic profile of Membu. I said this in my video yesterday. In the FIFA games, when like Ronaldo and Messi retire, you have like a free agent that it gets generated that offseason, which is just them. It's like the regen is what they call it. And like Membu athletically, with Jason Peters just retiring, is the Jason Peters regen. So I think you could gamble on the athletic traits here. But my pick, I'd love to see this to be Genty and then just be like, that's our offense. Mason Graham, Michigan. High floor player. I think we talk about every year during the draft process is prospect fatigue. Will Campbell was a victim of it. It's where these guys that like for the first 7 months of the season are like, these guys are top 10 picks. And then you get a month before the draft, you're like, well, maybe, he's actually not good despite everything we've seen. Or like maybe he's awesome, but then he didn't really run fast in a straight line with no pads on. So maybe he's actually overrated. I do think there's like a little bit of that happening with Mason Graham. I think some of it was valid. I think as more time went on, and you didn't see that he was like a freak of nature athlete. And I think the weight was something for me personally. Like I think he weighed just over 300 pounds, but he was listed at 320. So assuming what I was looking at was a 320-pound D tackle moving the way he did, you're like, okay, oh shit, okay, I'm in. And then when this guy is like barely 300 pounds, I don't know what his playing weight's going to be. But then when he's like, then he's like, barely 300 pounds. He's moving like a guy. That's like atypical movement traits of a 300 pound, which is at this, a little bit lighter of a D tackle. So I think for me personally, that was like okay, maybe not what I thought he was. But I think at the end of the day for the Browns, this pick can't be a miss. And someone like Mason Graham has a very high floor and a question mark of a ceiling. Like if he ends up being an absolute beast, you're going to look at his time in Michigan where he was very feared as a D lineman and be like, oh yeah, he just went to the NFL and took his game to another level. Not surprising. But also, if he ends up just being a high floor player, he's going to be playing next to Myles Garrett. It's going to free up. Like he's not going to get to, like if he is like a good player, he's not going to get to. But look at that, 296. He was 320 listed for literally all of college. He's stocky, so it was like a believable. It's not like, when they had like Kyler Murray at 6'1", you're like, 6'1"? We sure about that? Or like when Bryce Young's height, all that stuff. So that's weird, but I think ultimately for the Browns, it's not the excitement that maybe an Ashton Genty would be, but it's just like, all right, this guy's going to play next to Myles Garrett, and sure you're going to be able to get a double G nickname going on there. And life's going to be easy. He's never going to get double teamed. And if he ends up being good, maybe teams have to think about double teaming him, and it's going to make Myles Garrett better. So, don't hate the pick.
And they did that against Ohio State, who won the national championship. Ohio State kept trying to run the football at Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, and Mason Graham just kept throwing their guards onto the ground and making tackles. I mean, they single-handedly won that game in Columbus.
Don't look at me when you're saying that. Look at him.
No, that's okay. In all honesty, the most important trait anybody from Cleveland wants to have in a Brown is someone who knows how to win in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
You know, and as you were saying, and I'm just backing your play, Joel.
Rich is picking up what you're putting down.
I do see it. Meanwhile, you know, we were talking about we were.
He is 4-0 against Ohio.
Thanks for that
I
information.
just wanted to...
Jamie Erdahl, take it away.
Mason Graham, you are a Michigan man, but did you just make nice with the state of Ohio?
I guess so. I mean, that's where my future's at, and I'm going to do everything I can, you know, put Cleveland back on top.
You hang up that phone call and you know you're about to line up next to Myles Garrett every day. How does that sound?
Okay. Don't know where we're at. Professional streamer, trying to be at it. You can hear me now.
Congratulations, Mason.
So what's this pick for the Raiders? I don't know what you cut off, so I'm just going to restart my rant. Is the favorite right now going to be Ashton Jeanty? And I'm going to say why I don't like that pick. I like it in the same way that I like Travis Hunter, where I love the player, and I hope it works out. I hope it's sick. I hope it makes the Raiders, if they go with Jeanty, must-see football, because you have a guy that could very well be a top 5 running back by the end of his rookie season. There's just no way, shape, or form, though, that the Raiders are in a position to grab a running back. If you're the Bears, after all they spent in free agency on the offensive line, and you got Caleb Williams last year, and you have your 2 wide receivers, and a Dunze, DJ Moore, and you got Cole Kmet at tight end, that offense with Ben Johnson coming from Detroit, the running back, like that makes sense. That is a team that is ready to have a running back. The Raiders, you got Geno Smith, questionable wide receivers, a decent O-line. Wow. Again, I think that this pick is very Saquon Barkley, New York Giants. I think it's more likely than not that we're all going to be looking at when is Ashton Jeanty's rookie contract up so he can go to a better team. But you are a Raiders fan. You got a blue chip player. You might have got the best player in the class at 6. And if that comes by a running back, that your offensive line's not dog shit, you know? I watched a lot of plays last year as a who's that dog shit running back they had? Zamir White runs, where I was like, why is he not hitting the hole? Like, it felt like there was a lot of meat left on the bone with that run game last year. So I'm like, Jeanty's not going to miss it. You know, you look at the success of Pete Carroll running backs, like beast mode. He can feed a running back, maybe not all the one, but he could feed a running back. I'm not going to end this talking point about the Raiders selecting Ashton Jeanty at 6 with a negative. I don't think they are in the position to waste a pick on a running back, regardless of if it's Ashton Jeanty or not, at pick 6. You have so much else that needs to get fixed. But now to end it on a positive note, because I love Ashton Jeanty, and I hope, much like Travis Hunter, he makes the Raiders watchable. Right now, without Ashton Jeanty, before that 6th pick came in, I couldn't give 2 shits about the Raiders next year. Honestly, might actually be doing a lot about the Raiders next year, without doing spoilers. Raiders could be a team you see a lot of next season on this channel. But I didn't want to right now, I don't want to watch Raiders football. Couldn't give 2 shits. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, don't care. Absolutely don't care. You know, do they have big signings in free agency? Oh, not really? Okay, don't care. Now you have Ashton Jeanty. What if Ashton Jeanty starts popping off? What if he starts getting 150 yards from scrimmage, 100 yards on the ground, 50 yards through the air every single game, couple touchdowns every game, highlight reel plays, breaking ankles, running dudes over, being an absolute machine. Oh, now, you know, nothing's going on. You don't really want to watch Red Zone. Maybe that Raiders game seems a little bit more interesting. So from that standpoint, I think it makes a better product for the NFL from a neutral standpoint, with Travis Hunter going to the Jags, Ashton Jeanty going on the Raiders. And to counteract my own worry of this is Saquon Barkley and the Giants, I hope it's not Saquon Barkley and the Giants. I hope the Raiders have a plan on the offensive line so Jeanty is not getting destroyed in the backfield and he can thrive in that situation. I'm pulling for it. But This is the Raiders are treating this draft a little bit like people that are bad with money. They're like, okay, we're at the 6th pick. All right. We got a family of 5. And we got an affordable Dodge Caravan over here. Right? Dad has the budget. You know, Dad's not great with money. But we're looking at that Dodge Caravan. Low miles. Fresh set. You get a set in both seasons. You get a winter set of tires. Regular set of tires. All included on that minivan for that family of 5. But Dad controls the money, and then he just fucking went over and bought the Dodge Charger. The Dodge Charger with no tags. He said, I'm buying that because it goes fast. And it could be sick. Maybe you can squeeze the whole family in there. Take turns one at a time when we go with this family. It could be awesome. You could look like an absolute badass. Was it the right call? Are you trying to live a luxurious lifestyle when you're a dog shit team? But I hope it works out. So moving on. New York Jets. Thanks for enjoying that tangent. Joseph, as a Razorback fan, this feels a lot like when the Raiders drafted Darren McFadden. Man, Run DMC, so underrated.
You ready for this? Been ready, coach. Man, I already know. You've been building for this your whole life.
Michael, I feel like they're right back to where they were when they have Josh Jacobs. He was their offense for a minute, and they went nowhere. Can't disagree.
Anyone don't make it to the top. Thankfully, I'm not just talking to anyone. No, sir.
All right, so we have the Jets here. What are we thinking? Let's go up here to the prospect board. Tyler Warren was a popular pick. I have Membu. Could be a selection. I think it's going to be between Warren, Membu, and they did a lot of homework on Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. Freak of nature athlete, 6'6", 290, around like a 4'6", 10 RAS, perfect RAS, one of the pound-for-pound best athletes we've ever seen enter the league. Like, literally. Since, like, that RAS site's, like, going back to, like, the 80s. And he is perfect. He's one of one, tied for first with some of the other best athletes of all time. So I think Shamar Stewart wouldn't be a surprise. I'd actually like to be Shamar Stewart because it makes you look a little bit smart because I had that in my final prediction mock draft. But Tyler Warren was a Vegas favorite. Membu could make sense to solidify that offensive line. They got Fashanu last year out of Penn State in the first round, left tackle. You put Membu in at right tackle, you feel a little bit better about however the hell that offense is going to look under Justin Fields. Which, if Justin Fields is your guy, I suppose you're playing this, you're going to run the football. And to run the football, you got to dominate the line of scrimmage. You got to win the trenches. And a Membu selection, if they go tackle at 7, makes a lot of sense. Warren makes sense if they think he's going to be a Brock Bowers type. I don't want to be in the shitting on the picks mode. Rather be more positive than not. I don't want to be a draft snob. But Brock Bowers, S tier tight end prospect. Tyler Warren, A tier prospect. Tyler Warren should go. You know, he's probably top 10 player in this class. But is he as good as Brock Bowers? Is he going to transform the Jets like Brock Bowers? I don't know. Why did they get him? Again, it's not like a dog shit pick. It's not like, oh, that's a bust pick. They get Tyler Warren. It's like, oh, wouldn't be surprised if he, can get 100 catches. Did it at Penn State. Offense went through him. Versatility out the ass. You got to get creative with Justin Fields as your quarterback. Warren can help out with that. Not refined as a route runner, not refined as a blocker, but also shows, the kind of scouting report consensus, like, put it all together. He can become a complete tight end. Not there yet. You imagine you get to the NFL, you get in the NFL strength condition program, you bulk up a little bit, you get on some creatine, maybe starts blocking a little bit better. Who's this guy they're showing? They're showing Will Johnson. That was my surprise fall. Will Johnson falls to the Seattle Seahawks, where he reunites with his former Michigan defensive coordinator. I think he was there. He at least must have been there when they were recruiting him. And McDonald had a farm. Pick is in for the Jets. I'm going to predict Membu. Vegas has Tyler Warren. My official predictive mock draft had Shamar Stewart. If it's not one of those 3 guys, I don't know shit. Dago Membu. Not gonna lie, that's kind of just following the Vegas odds right now. But there's the pick. Membu is the Jason Peters athlete regen at tackle. Makes sense for the offensive line for the Jets. Put him at right tackle. They're going to run the football a lot with Justin Fields, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen. You know? Not a whole lot you can treat. I think that's a solid pick. Ain't mad. You hope you develop him. You know, right now you are getting an athlete at tackle. Sometimes, if you don't have the right coaching staff, you don't have your Jeff Stoutland you ready, like he's going to need some refining. But from an athletic profile, that is absolutely, he's a blue chip athlete at tackle. And if you can coach him up, you're cooking with fire there. And the Jets might have two outstanding tackle play for the next 4 years on rookie contracts. Tim, get a crap on the Colts pick so you can get to their next video. Yes. Colts have a very soy boy sensitive social media team. Throwing my goddamn videos and reactions to Darius Leonard in like his contract extent. And who was right at the end of the day? You know? I saw him play for the Eagles. That guy sucked ass. Saw how it ended for the Colts. I was just early. I said it. Do I have the draft up? I do have the draft up. It is, I'm looking at a screen here. Half the screen is the stream information. The other half is what's showing that ticker on the bottom, which is the NFL Network. I always prioritize the NFL Network. I don't know why. I like the host better. Because when you watch ESPN, it's like, did you know that our man Membu's second cousin had malaria? And also, he gives out toothpaste on Halloween. You're just like, I don't know who that was. It was LaVisca Chenault. Someone shared that today. It was like his mom had malaria. So it's like, sick. That's probably why he was high on their draft board. So fuck, I hate it. I don't like ESPN. I've always been an NFL Network guy. Love that's my football sicko origin story. The amount of times like that was just the background noise in my house growing up. Like I couldn't tell you how many times I watched all those football lives and like all those different things just 24/7. Combine 24/7. I'm a big NFL Network guy. All right, so we have the Panthers up next. Jalen Walker was the predicted pick. Jalen Walker, and every other dog thinks it's going to be Jalen Walker. They need pass rush help. Haven't really found the successor to Brian Burns yet. Jalen Walker, Georgia Bulldog pedigree. Would have been nice to have the athletic testing to confirm that he's like freak of nature Georgia prototype, because Mykel Williams, who could go at 9, could be see a run of Georgia Bulldogs here, but Mykel Williams is another one of those like, well, he's a high upside guy, doesn't have the big time stats, kind of like Shamar Stewart-esque stats, but you're like, well, he's 6'6", long arms, looks like a franchise edge rusher, but then he tested at the Georgia Pro Day, so like Pro Day numbers usually are favorable, and he was just like, fine, not a bad athlete, kind of the same with like Will Johnson at corner. Where it's like, you're not going to like just say, put the big red flag on him that he's not athletic. But he's not a freak of nature athlete. And I feel like, that with Jalen Walker, where it's like, is he a freak of nature? Let's see it. And I feel like, I don't know 100% why he hasn't worked out. Let me see here. I got the scouting report. Jalen Walker. Like, was he hurt? Did he just decide not to? If he was hurt, it gives you an out. Let's see here. Jalen Walker. No workout. Choice. Don't love no workout choice. Because if you know you're a freaking nature athlete, you're going to go out there like Shamar Stewart and Nick Amon-Worry and light it up. You got to rattle them cages. You're going to squat 7 trillion pounds and run a 4.2 because that's your livelihood. Especially an edge rusher. That is a position that you freaky athlete, you're going to make a lot of money during the draft. So when you are, by personal choice, not running in a straight line with no gear on and jumping high and throwing around weight, throwing around plates, I will say, doesn't inspire great confidence. But that is the popular pick for Carolina right now, Jalen Walker. We'll see what happens. They're pretty happy about it. that Dan Morgan there? Tyler Warren to the Panthers. Now, that was a pick I made in a mock draft about a month ago. Now, you know, it's one of those things. You did 8 mock drafts, so you're going to say, like, oh, I got that pick right. You did enough you just did enough different order every single time that you'll be. But I did have Tyler Warren going to the Panthers here, and Panther fans hated it. I literally, like, at number 8, I think the argument can be made for Carolina that you go the best possible pick to make Bryce Young's life easier next year. Like, he showed promise. I'll never forget his game against the Eagles. I was literally like, holy shit. Of course, he plays good against Philly. But Bryce Young was sick. But you need more. You didn't really get, like, Leggett feel decent that he's going to be a guy. We still don't know. So, like, you know, if you think Tyler Warren is going to carry over that Penn State form, you think he can be that guy underneath, safety net, at the sticks, 100 catches, versatility. They don't have a tight end. Jonathan Brooks got hurt again, so you can't even, like, you know, you're looking at the young playmakers on that offense. Shout out Chuba Hubbard, the Canadian. He's going to be on my fantasy radar next season. He's going to get a lot of carries. But I think an argument can be made that at number 8, go with the guy that makes Bryce Young better the most next year. And I think that's Tyler Warren. So I'd love to see that, but Jalen Walker is the Vegas favorite. Let's see.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Teteron McMillan, wide receiver.
Oh, T-Mac. I mean, I was talking about, and I was responding to a Tyler Warren question, but absolutely, I mean, Carolina at number 8 have to go with a player that makes Bryce Young better next year. T-Mac does that. They get, depending on how the Jags want to use Travis Hunter. I like that pick. Fuck yeah, go with that pick.
So he goes out and gets one as a head coach and gets Ted McMillan, who is very long and rangy. Kind of remind me a little bit of Drake London in some instances. Watch him go up and get the ball. That length, he plays above the rim. Think about Bryce down there in the red zone. Just throw it up with tremendous touch, which he can do. He can go get it. How about the special one-handed catch here against Colorado? The body control, balls underthrown, no problem for a bigger receiver. He can really adjust down the field and play like a smaller guy. He's slippery with the ball in his hands after the catch. I think he's got to play with a little more consistent urgency. There's times where you'll see him ease on the backside of routes. That's something that's coachable. You got to get that out of him. But the raw ability, his basketball or his volleyball.
I like that pick. Where's Talon? T. Vibes on this pick, brother. Vibes. Again, Jalen Walker didn't want to work out. You don't want to be a first-round pick. You don't want to show me your top 10 pick athleticism. Someone else's problem. Tim, do you tell you that Ackman had you? I did see that. Thank you for the tag. Cool.
I don't like it either when I see it on film, but I'm telling you, these guys, some of them are coached to do that in these offenses, and it's tough to scout when
You're here for it. Let's go. I mean, I love it. Are you okay? The question: You like this pick enough that like you're considering a McMillan jersey right now? Like that's getting ordered. You're gonna take that Patreon money and be like, I'm getting a T-Mac jersey, stitched, or is it? Let's wait and see. All right, we have the New Orleans Saints up next. Vegas was siding towards Michael Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, last I saw. Things could have shifted live. Let's see, looking at the players that are left. Could go tight end. Like, what's their tight end situation? Juwan Johnson? I know he's a free agent. I don't know if he came back. Foster Moreau. But, man, Tyler Warren. I mean, you know what? Another thing. Neither one of these tight ends tested. I'm not saying that, like, you know, when you're breaking down into percentage evaluating players, I'm pretty sure, like, most teams are, like, 60% tape, 70% tape. Rest is, you know, 20%. If we're going 70% tape, we're going to go 20% testing, 10% character interview. Something like that. So, like, Warren and Loveland and Jalen Walker and all these guys not testing is not going to have them free fall. But I think if for a top 10 pick, you got kind of, you know, let me look under the hood a little bit. But that's also a casual thing from the outside because I bet you all these teams have like the GPS numbers and they could be like, oh, we have this algorithm that's Tyler Warren ran 21.7 miles per hour, which equates to like a 4.58 40 and stuff. So they do have information, but I still think there's like when choice not working out probably means, you know. So for the Saints, Michael Williams' favorite. Going back to it, the tight ends could continue to fall. Dude, Shador, Jackson, like a surprise quarterback. I'll say this: the scenes if Jackson Dart goes ahead of Shador Sanders, if that's the pick. I'll be honest. I'm Shador Sanders. I don't want to go to the Saints. I want a free fall to the Steelers. New Orleans have Chris Olave at wide receiver, who's unfortunately had a nasty string of head injuries. You have a very old Alvin Kamara, who was an absolute stud of a fantasy football pick last year, still believed. I don't know, man. Any Saint fans in chat? Saints, what are you feeling here? Because now you have this whole like Derek Carr might miss the season with injury. Like, do you have to pull the trigger on a quarterback? Is that the kind of opportunity you give Kellen Moore, first year head coach? Be like, hey, pick a quarterback. You have a quarterback here. You could persuade us. We're not going to trade up, but at 9, if Shador's there, Jackson Dart, pretty sure Jalen Milroe's in attendance. That'd be wild. Jalen Milroe, similarities to Jalen Hurts. I don't think a lot of them, but there's some. You think Kellen Moore's like, let's go do it. And that right now, I'm seeing the handshake. That looks like we just took a quarterback handshake. That looks like an offensive-minded head coach just got something there. Interesting draft, though, so far. Let's see, man. Are they going to be funny and weird with it? Or are they going to go status quo and like grab an edge rusher? Ryan Ramczyk retired, starting right tackle. Get a tackle. Maybe not a sexy pick, but I don't think you're going to find many Saint fans are pissed off with that. You need a tackle. And if Kellen Moore, who hopefully learned a thing or two with Jeff Stoutland in his 1 year, of like what a good tackle, what are some traits on a good tackle, maybe picked his brain a little bit. As thanks for winning the Super Bowl, let's have a beer and I'll give you some insider knowledge. If Banks is interesting like that, I mean, it's not a sexy pick, but it's not a bad pick. If I was a Saints fan, I would be like, you know what? Could have been cooler. Ain't going to be mad at it. Because you got, Fuaga last year. Now, I maybe that would be annoying. Like, oh, great, back-to-back years going tackle in the first round. But also, it's tackles. You need 2 good ones. All right, so the Chicago Bears, that pick was in I'm going to say this. We said at the very beginning of this stream, the teams that run the clock, these teams that are running it all the way down from 10 minutes down to literally zeros, they're going to have bad football coverage. Don't know how many picks. I think honestly the Jags were like the one pick that like I've noticed, at least, that like, Jesus Christ, make the damn pick. So the Chicago Bears, there was momentum that they go tight end, Tyler Warren here. Like, is that the vibes? Like, didn't they just get Cole Kmet a contract? I don't know the extent of the contract. I don't know if there's an out of that contract or not a lot of guaranteed money. But I would probably not say tight end would be a need. But someone like Tyler Warren, because of the versatility and utility, probably plan, if that's the pick, to like get him on the field, have both of them on the field at the same time. And it's also, I mean, it's new front office. Maybe Ben Johnson doesn't rate Cole Kmet if that ends up being the selection. But let's see. Looking at the available players right now, you have the tight ends. Could go defense, I suppose. Like Walter Nolan could be a pick. Jalen Walker, they love him as an edge rusher, could be a pick. They want to go offensive line. Like, just say, screw it, we're going to go Josh Simmons. We're going to think he can fully recover from the injury. But I'm going to guess that, oh my God. Colleen Wolfe, everybody.
NFL draft right here in Green Bay.
Eagles fan.
That's right, Colleen. The season release marks
Are you kidding me, Colleen Wolfe?
the calendar and sets the stage for a
Proud father of 2. Love my daughter, but
out over every single game.
dog's gonna dog.
Prime
Hoo hoo!
those late season
Jesus Christ.
end up deciding playoff spots. And
Colleen Wolfe, ladies and gentlemen.
December. Ooh, we're gonna have to find out. You'll find out soon, okay? How about these rookies, the players who are drafted?
Okay, let's make the damn pick here, ladies.
And where do they make their NFL debuts? We're gonna find that out as well. Let's not forget the expanding lineup of international games.
Prediction for this pick.
Thanksgiving Day. There's so many captivating.
What I would do
Yes, because nothing
if I was Chicago
cheer like watching
is I'd make up for passing on Jalen Carter and I go Walter Nolan. That would be my pick given the board.
get it together.
Dream pick would have been Ashton Genty.
Set your alarms.
I go Walter Nolan.
Will be dropped on May 14th. There we go. Lock it in. We can't wait. You can tweet it out, tell everybody, and don't miss it. Be sure to check out all the great content from the NFL team sites, the club's social channels around the schedule release. Tune into NFL Network as well as ESPN. Too much. Full coverage of the thrilling 2025 matchups. May 14th just around the corner. I know. It's basically here at this point. Guys, get ready and buckle up for the greatest season of your lives.
That is quite the hype. I know what I'm doing on May 14th. I'll be working. You'll be working. Oh, yes. You hear the boos. That's what happens when the Bears are about to make their pick.
Didn't even need Clay Matthews.
Here at the first ever draft in the home of the Packers. So, we find out the Bears we were talking about, you know, did they trade up for Genty? They might have attempted, didn't work out. They did. They have every tight end.
Edge rush, yeah. Michael Williams. Did they do their homework on Mike Green? Gotta. A lot of baggage there. Jalen Walker. I would go Walter Nolan.
Yeah, but you mentioned tight end in your mock draft.
This will be fun with the Bears
This makes perfect sense.
make a Bears
Ben
pick
Johnson.
Green Bay.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend. Bears Hall of Famer.
R.I.P. Mongo.
My heart is with the McMichael family.
Remember him on WCW Nitro as a color commentator.
Please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Mongo's remarkable contributions to the game and the community will never be forgotten.
Tell you what, I got some peanut butter cups.
Continue to inspire.
Pretty good right now. Made it 10 picks without having one.
50 years ago, with the 4th pick in the 1975 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected one of Stephen Michael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns.
I guess we did get a Colleen Wolfe announcement about a schedule, but also she should also announce the schedule every pick now. From like before every pick, at least a minute of her announcing the pick on the stage on my television screen.
His commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award.
Look at this.
So with the 10th pick,
What you know? What you know about Big Cup? Oh, they go Colson.
Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan.
So it's Colston Loveland, not Tyler Warren. That's
Now, Colson Lovely remind me of Zach Ertz.
Next to each other on my list, so they're
Kind of like the vibe is like outstanding route runner, like in the discussion for one of the best route runners in this class, regardless, wide receiver, tight end. But also didn't test athletically, so a little bit of a question mark there. Tight end is a position you want to see you bring some juice because it is one of those positions that historically, like the RAS, the athletic scores, like it matches up, like where you have like very rarely like a sub-9 tight end is a great player. So it's something that's valuable having that information. We don't. Like big slot. Like, is that the plan? Cole Kmet at tight end just signed a $50 million contract extension. Don't know the guarantees of that. And then you have Loveland play Slot?
Favorite player in the draft. I love Colston Loveland. Everything about him. I comped him to Tyler Eifert. Before injuries, Eifert 2015, 13 touchdown catches and was unstoppable in the red zone. You notice the ability to split out, run routes, beat people one-on-one. We saw it from Eifert. We're seeing the same thing from Loveland. Look at him run this wheel route against Illinois in those old school red Grange uniforms in that big game. Look at him go up and catch the football there. Watch him get inside and suddenness and breaking away, Joel Klatt. You get to see
All right, we got the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, that's, I don't want to say it's shocking. Again, Loveland and Warren were the top 2 tight ends. Neither of them tested to really separate themselves. And it's like, if you value versatility, you want Tyler Warren. If you value route running, you want Colson Loveland. That is that's a pick, man. Okay, Ben Martin says Black Ertz. Probably, I don't know. Colson Loveland is Caucasian.
So kudos to the Packers fans again. Them being quite respectful when we were remembering Steve McMichael.
TJ, probably reading the chat. Please do a Raiders main channel franchise.
And guess what? The booze will continue because next it's the 49ers and then the Dallas Cowboys. Who the Packers fans don't really like very much either.
Without spilling the tea, because there's not really. I want to do the Raiders last year. And then me and Bengal in our meeting of franchise guys, usually a couple other guys are in the discussions. We kind of just make sure we're not stepping on toes. Like, who's doing what? I want to do the Raiders, but he was like, I'm doing the Raiders. And I was like, there's a food chain to it. And a couple years ago, I wanted to do, who did I do? Was it the Cardinals? Who did I do before the Cardinals? Whatever team I made my main channel franchise for the Cardinals, I do remember he was kind of leaning them. He's like, no, you can do those. So I was like, all right, whatever. It's not, who gives a shit? But I really did want to do the Raiders last year. Maybe this year. Maybe. Be fun. Go Birds. Go Birds. So I think it's a bad pick. I would evaluate this pick for the Bears, not, oh my God, they went Loveland over Tyler Warren. Is tight end the right call at 10? Now, who knows? Ben Johnson, I think Bears fans think he's going to be the guy. And if Ben Johnson goes, Cole Kmet's not what I want at tight end, give me this guy. Well, he had a lot of success with Sam Laporta. Trust him. Maybe he knows what he needs for this offense to make it work, and if Kmet's not it, you try trading him or whatever. Which I hope Dallas Goedert gets traded before, so that the market, we get the first choice. We get someone to overpay first. Panthers. Yes, Panthers franchise. Thank you.
If you keep making that face, it's gonna stay like that. I'm trying to get my own car insurance. USAA. Grandpa was in the military. You should membership with your mom so she can share with you. Easy.
All right, peanut butter cup one's getting eaten. I got 4 of these things. First one. I got through 11 picks.
For lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff works guaranteed or your money back. This stuff works on big lawns, small lawns, and I guess you can call that a lawns. This stuff works without killing your lawn. This stuff works without killing your weekend. This stuff works for the rookies and the seasoned pros. This stuff works in Knoxville, Bronxville, Rockville, Marysville. This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works.
The 2025 NFL schedule will be released soon.
The stage electric.
Quarterbacks define this rivalry. A Super Bowl rematch for the ages.
Welcome back.
All right, we're back. What happened there? We'll get some water.
Niners pick is in. The Cowboys have 4 minutes left. And I gotta be honest with you, you can't think the Niners are gonna take Tyler Warren, obviously, with the great George Kittle sitting there getting ready.
All right, Niners are taking forever. Now, I think this was commercial breaks, but I'm also going to say, because fuck the Niners, politely, as just continuing our rivalry. Took forever to make that pick. Bad omen for the season ahead. C4, have you guys had drastic changes in your prices, or is it just whiskey? A lot of that stuff has. That's all like kind of, you know, feel like the vibes are it's temporary. Fucking tariffs. I don't want to direct my attention. Make the pick. Like they love to. I don't want to step on any toes here because I'm a Canadian talking about military. They just love putting the military during the draft. Oh, I gotta let this guy make the pick, so it makes sense. Like sometimes they just bring them all out on the stage for some reason. It's like, okay, awesome, man, do that like pre-game off camera for the crowd. Just make the pick.
With the San Francisco 49ers draft pick, back to you in Green Bay.
Salute to service, always.
So here comes the commissioner now with that pick. Chance of USA mixed in with the
C4, are you a fan of coffee, Chris? I ain't mad at it during Halloween. Oh, spoiled because how is the network site ahead of the channel? Michael Williams, edge rusher from Georgia. You know? Sure. Interesting, like, study during the process because, like, the vibes were, you know, you look at some of the guys that have come out of Georgia as of late. Jordan Davis, Philadelphia Eagles. Nolan Smith, Philadelphia Eagles. Freak of nature athletes. It's just been this reputation that you're a highly regarded Georgia player, top 5 recruit. Michael Williams was a top 5 recruit. He was the second best lineman rated-wise behind Walter Nolan, 2 5-stars. That you're going to be like a freak of nature athlete, right? He's 6'5", 34-inch arms, and almost 83-inch wingspan, so like gigantic. Ran a 4.77. 161, 10-yard split. Didn't do any agility or vertical. You look at the production. Let's run it down here. 3 years at Georgia. As a freshman, 6.5 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. Now, it's hard to get big-time numbers on that Georgia D-line. He was a freshman All-American, so he gets that. But then another, year 2, 2023, 6.5 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. And then last year, 8.5 TFLs, 5 sacks. So you're buying a guy that you hope is an ascending player. But the fact that not freak of nature athlete, more Shamar Stewart than not production, I hope they did their homework. But for the 49ers, got to find another pass rusher to play on the other side of Bosa. I mean, they're showing here the piece of the puzzle right now. I thought Walter Nolan would be a very interesting gift for them as well at 11. Very happy that Walter Nolan, these are some of the teams that that's probably my dream pick right now. If Walter Nolan falls, I think Daniel Jeremiah's last mock draft had Walter Nolan falling out of the first round. The dream scenario is if Daniel Jeremiah is that plugged in. We had Philly getting Jahad Campbell at 32 and then trading up in the second round the same way we did for Kuba Desheen and get Walter Nolan. I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
under a minute tonight in the first round, and they're celebrating and high-fiving. Listen,
So the pick is in for Dallas. Oh. Okay. Tyler Warren could be a play. Matthew Golden. In my mock draft, my predictive one, I had Dallas going McMillan, T-Mac, who ended up going to the Carolina Panthers up there. I think, unbiasedly, looking at the Cowboys roster, if they go like any form of skill position, I'm going to be a little annoyed because I think that's what they need the most. I hope this is a trench pick. I would... Let's see.
The Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
so it is a guy named Tyler, but it's Booker. They go offensive line. Real quick, Charles Davis.
Earlier tonight, our colleague Kurt Warner talked about the Cowboys being intriguing. What's going to happen with this draft? And what did Kurt fall back on in the end? Will they do something bold, or will they do what they always do and draft an offensive line? DJ
I was asked him, what would you tell the teams if they asked you about Tyler Booker? They said if he gets on the airplane after he gets picked and they were to tell him, hey, they changed the schedule, we have a game tomorrow, we just emailed you the playbook. When the plane landed, he'd have the entire playbook memorized and he'd be able to start the next day. That they love this.
Okay, quickly analyzing the pick. Tyler Booker is, kind of badass. Most scouts, like you look at Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler, those are my two favorite. Has him as a first rounder. 12 is rich. Now, he's still kind of consensus top guard in the draft. It's just 12's rich. But when you're Dallas and you have Zach Martin retiring, and is Tyler Smith going to play tackle? You got to keep him at guard. You got to move him to tackle. One of those tackle spots. Terrence Steele has been hot trash since you paid him. If Tyler Booker's your best guard, you say we have to replace Zach Martin this year. From that, sure. But that's a pick that I want. I want them to kind of take the is Tyler Booker going to be the missing piece for that offense? More so than if they got Matthew Golden, 4.3 speed, and he's good. Or if they got Tyler Warren and somehow him and Jake Ferguson made it something on the offense. You know what I'm saying? Like as an Eagle fan, I can very much live with Tyler Booker there. Going to build the trenches. Good luck. Jalen Carter's going to eat this guy's fucking lunch twice a year. Good luck. Miami Dolphins on the clock. So my predictive mock draft was them going Nick Amenwari, freak of nature safety from South Carolina. Much like Shamar Stewart, literally, arguably pound for pound, the most athletic player we've ever seen in the NFL. Had a perfect 10 RAS score. So that just fits Miami. At least the perception of the Dolphins, always just speed kills. So let's go speed. I would say Walter Nolan, I think that was the very first mock draft that I had once the draft cycle started. I was like, Walter Nolan, Miami. They got to go interior D-line. Got to get someone to help the pass rush. Looking at who's available. Tyler Warren could make sense. Jonnu Smith was pretty damn good last season, all things considered. But Jonnu Smith, 30? You go Tyler Warren. But a lot of these options on defense. This is I don't know. Dolphins will run the clock out. Oh, you guys think Miami's going to be a strong, bad omen team? It's feeling like it. Feeling like these Florida teams are on that Florida time. It's hot, it's muggy down there right now. And there's we're in a nice air-conditioned room. We want to be in here as long as possible. So freaking nature athletes, both Amenwari and Shamar Stewart kind of fit the bill. Could they say, screw it? Is Tyreek Hill in their plans? Are they going to want to get rid of that headache? Because if they do, 4.29. What do you run, a 4.3 flat? Fast Matthew Golden. Just hoard all the fast players on off. If that is something that they're working on getting rid of Tyreek or whatever. Could just say, screw it. Matthew Golden would be on brand. I don't think I would do it. I would say my pick for Miami, I would go Walter Nolan here. But what they actually do, I think this is going to be bizarre. I'll say that will be my official prediction, is whatever Miami does will be equal to the Bears going Loveland, where you go, huh. They can reach and get Josh Simmons. I was very surprised, and now not every top 30 visit gets publicized, but I was still very surprised that when I was looking, didn't see a lot of Josh Simmons visits. That's a guy where before he got injured for Ohio State, he might have been the best tackle in college football last year. So if that's that, and you bring him in, and you're like, oh, medical's good, all this stuff, boom, might be able to get the best tackle. If you're Miami, with Taron Armstead retiring, boom, plug and play, left tackle, franchise tackle of the future. But I would be very surprised with that injury that he had. Was it a tendon or something like that? You got to do your homework. You got to do extra homework. And this guy was barely taking. I think the Colts. Remember the Colts had him for a visit, Arizona or something, Atlanta or something like that. I don't know. Very interesting. But I'll tell you right now, we got Tim in here, the mod, Colts fan. I mean, every mock draft in existence for this year had the Colts getting Tyler Warren. It would be kind of cool if that happens.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're also one of America's
Watch Dolphins. I will say, from an entertainment standpoint, I think Miami going Tyler Warren is going to set off Colt fans as a bystander. Maybe that'll be fun to watch. I think there might be like a rivalry brewing here if that pick happens.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Every year, Rich Eisen runs the 40 to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit stjude.org/runrichrun to donate. Then tune in to the 2025 NFL Draft on NFL Network to see Rich run.
But even though I predict Walter Nolan, still want him to free fall to my Eagles. So I hope it's not Walter Nolan. Hope they go just more speed, Matthew Golden at wide receiver. And then just add more drama. Whether or not like Tyreek, 100% they draft Matthew Golden. 4 milliseconds after that happens, Tyreek Hill's going to be like doing that emoji. That'd drive me fucking... Like I love A.J. Brown, man. I bought an A.J. Brown jersey. Love A.J. Brown. Awesome player. I can like... Fucking wide receiver ones, man. Just lunatics. Jahad Campbell could make sense. We're just looking at athletes. Jalen Walker's falling. But I have no idea what they're going to do here. And I guess with this free fall, unless a team trades up, is Shador falling to the Steelers? Is that going to actually, like what everyone's kind of been talking about the last 48 hours, going to fall into place? What am I drinking? I have a Mountain Dew Kickstart, which first time having that, not bad. And then we just got ice cold water, high quality H2O. Gotta stay hydrated. Come on, let's see it. Dolphins.
With the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Kenneth Grant.
the Dolphins select Kenneth Grant,
Huh.
defensive tackle, Michigan.
Walter Nolan fall is good. You got a nose tackle. I would say right now, 12 and 13, great picks for every other team that's picking because not sexy positions. Maybe overdrafting for what their position is. But Kenneth Grant, I mean, D tackle, D line, build the trenches for Miami had to be where they go. And if Kenneth Grant was the guy that they fell in love with during the process, can't be mad at the position that they targeted there. So, not a bad pick. Not a flashy pick. It's a nose tackle. Kenneth Grant was on Bruce Feldman's freak list, which kind of gives you an idea, like the guys are going to stand on the combine. He went to his pro day. Wasn't the best. Let's see here. What were the numbers? So, Kenneth Grant. We got so he's 6'3", 330, 82.5-inch wingspan. Good. 5'1", 340 with a 1.72 10-yard. Not freak athlete. You know, I feel like every nose tackle, like from an athletic standpoint, you're going to be compared to Jordan Davis. But not a bad athlete. 27 bench press, has longer arms, so like you'd love to see nose tackles put up 40. But 33.5-inch arms, 82-inch wingspan. It'd be like an anomaly for, usually it's the shorter arms that put up the better bench press numbers. Again, 6.5 TFLs, 3 sacks last year. Got a guy that is going to do his role probably very well. Improve a Dolphins' run defense. It's not particularly good. It's just not a sexy pick. All right, we have the Indianapolis Colts. It got to be Tyler Warren, right? You can't even be mad now. He fell to you. If they go somewhere else, the same people that think Daniel Jones is going to be an upgrade over Anthony Richardson, that he's going to be the answer. You can't be too mad. But you got Tyler Warren right there. It's been the mock draft. Copy, paste, Control V, Control C. Like, I would say this. This pick felt very quick. Come on, Colts. Do it. Do the right thing. Give Anthony Richardson a weapon. There you go. Congratulations. Colt fans feel the exact same way I felt when we got Cooper DeJean. It feels fucking great, doesn't it? Wow, man. It's a good get. I think tight end. There's a reason why every single mock draft had the Colts go some variation of Tyler Warren or Colson Levin. Tight end, gigantic need. State of that quarterback room, a good tight end, reliable weapon, chain mover, big time need. And you got him. Fell to your lap. Didn't have to try. I bet you Colt fans are probably like, I'd trade up for him. Fuck a third round pick. If you said we can have Tyler Warren and no third round pick, give me Tyler Warren. And I think a guy like that, safety net, huge for Anthony Richardson. Now, don't screw up and go Daniel Jones out there. We know Daniel Jones. We know him. Literally, Brian Daboll got the head coaching job in New York and somehow a fucking Coach of the Year award over Nick Sirianni, which is bullshit. But he gets that because of the work he did with Josh Allen. Developed Josh Allen. Couldn't do shit with Daniel Jones. What makes you think he's, I hate, that's one of my least favorite storylines, and I'm trying to, exclude as much bias as I have over Anthony Richardson as a Gators fan. Let's go. I love seeing this. Fuck, hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. Let's go, Colts. Let them know. C4, who's the best safety? I am a Malachi Starks fan. Atlanta at 15. Jalen Walker, is this where his, at least perceived, free fall ends? Atlanta's an interesting spot. Kind of feels like has to be defense. So Will Johnson, I believe they had him in for a top 30 visit. Walter Nolan, Mike Green. I do think, my last mock draft, I think the Chiefs, they just obviously don't give a shit, I don't think, with all the recent arrests. I think that could be a spot for Mike Green if he doesn't outright fall into the first round. I'm going to imagine most Falcon fans are like Jalen Walker or bust with this pick. That'd be a hell of a selection. Good value there. Again, don't love the fact that by choice didn't work out. Especially for an edge rusher, one of the positions that you really want to be like, oh, he's a freaking nature athlete. Let's hope we get him coached up because the athleticism is there. Don't know for a fact with Jalen Walker. Don't go Jalen Walker. Again, they had, I'm pretty sure, I don't want to be misquoted there, but they had Will Johnson in. James Pierce, Ezraku, Shamar Stewart, athletes. Jahad Campbell, linebacker, could be interesting. Like, if they want that style of, do-it-all hybrid weapon in the mold of a Zach Bond for my Philadelphia Eagles last year, Jahad Campbell and Jalen Walker, that could be the position and style they want. And versus going Walker, they could go Jahad Campbell as well. But it has to be defense. I'll predict Jalen Walker. I'd say, if I'm power ranking, I'd say Jalen Walker 1, Will Johnson 2, Jahad Campbell 3. We're moving, man. Halfway through. That's what I want to see. Tim, cannot wait for Madden 26 with Warren. Yep. Tell you right now, if you're Colt fans, put him in the slot. Put him in the slot. Don't even use him at tight end. Fucking Will Mallory, whoever. Tight end, boom. Put Tyler Warren in the slot. Eat. What I'm also going to do now from every pick, like the Falcons on the clock, I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to watch the broadcast. I hate it. That's been brutal when this site updates before the pick is in. So I'm actually going to go before the pick. We're going to boop.
That first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. I was already trying to change my perspective of life and really just be a father figure that I never had. Being present is the most important part. I'm still growing every day, becoming a better version of myself.
What are the odds of Eagles somehow getting Nolan? I mean, Daniel Jeremiah is plugged into the NFL. Maybe not as much as, like, Daniel Jeremiah, Peter Schrager. Daniel Jeremiah have fallen out of the first round. So, I mean, you're looking at what I think for Walter Nolan, the case of Walter Nolan. I think Atlanta could take him. I think Arizona could take him. I think Cincinnati could take him. I'd feel decent. I don't think Seattle, Tampa, Denver, Pittsburgh, LA, Green Bay. Minnesota, I'd be worried. Houston, he has to fall through some teams that absolutely could select him. But I would say, we're looking at it right now, I'd say Cincinnati. I'd say Cincinnati and Minnesota. Like, if he falls past Minnesota, I'm going to be like, we're going to get Walter Nolan. We got some work to do. Atlanta look at this. Bad vibes Falcons. Running the clock down. Clearly trying to probably trade back right now, saying, anyone want to come up? Bad vibes. Falcons now. Jags and Falcons are cursed. They're going to be terrible next season because they're running the fucking draft clock down. Tintin, what up, C4? I had a feeling my Browns would take Graham. Just had a sneaky feeling with needing D tackle. I mean, hey, might not ever be a double-digit sack defensive tackle, but high floor, and I think alongside Myles Garrett, that's a very interesting dynamic. I think they should play off each other really, really well, make each other's lives easier, and maybe they're going to be an awesome tandem. I don't think he'll bust them, so it's like a safe pick, high floor. Okay, pick is in for Atlanta. Gonna hide it. 29 seconds on the clock, Falcons? Brutal. This pick's gonna suck. This pick is gonna suck, and they're gonna suck. The Atlanta Falcons select a Marion Hampton, running back. Let's see. So my prediction, Jalen Walker. Was it Jalen Walker, Will Johnson, Will Campbell? Oh, Falcons, let's go! Shador Sanders, let's go! Didn't like Michael Penix last year. We're going again at quarterback. It's definitely a defense guy. Raheem Morris very happy with the pick, so it's got to be someone for his defense. Man, we'll say for the kids out there that use the words aura, Falcons owner, probably one of the best auras in the NFL. Looks like you straight up casted evil sport team owner. Yeah, there's something going on with this pick. This is going to be a cursed pick. All right, Jalen Walker. Yep, makes sense. Had him mocked to Atlanta a bunch. Need pass rush. Could be their best pass rush option. So, hey, that's what you needed. I think honestly, the Colts and Falcons very happy with those picks. Back-to-back probably players that many fans of those two teams are like, they might not even be there. So they follow us. We're laughing. Now also, don't run the clock up. If Jalen Walker's your guy, just make that pick. Don't make us wait till 29 seconds on the board and then also just an extra 2-3 minutes before the guy gets out there to make the pick. Bad vibes on Jalen Walker, but keep him in Georgia. It's a big-time fit. Should be happy with that. Cards need to select Marcus House. Appreciate the callback. Legend. Marcus House. He'd also trade for Calvin Austin. Well, I see Walker's a linebacker and edge rusher. Edge rusher. But you probably get creative with him. Have him drop off ball. Have him rush the passer. Do a little bit of both.
And we have another guy who's still on the board, Jihad Campbell out of Alabama, that's very similar to what we're talking about with Jalen Walker, where they're off-the-ball linebackers who can move to the edge and rush, a la Dante Hightower, who changed the fortunes of a Super Bowl with a rush and knocked it free from Matt Ryan and started that comeback for the New England Patriots when you have that type of a player.
What are you doing, man? They're all excited about their pick. Why are you bringing up that Super Bowl?
But it doesn't matter. This is a guy that's on the reverse side of it.
I see what you're saying.
And maybe he can do it for them.
Normally, you don't do buzzkill type stuff.
No, you went there. I'm just saying this is a positive for them. And I'm just telling you, for the Falcons, no more worried about Vic Beasley. No more worried about John Abraham. Jalen Walker comes in, and maybe he's their new guy.
Okay. There's a member of the Ball Brotherhood. We welcome Monty Ossenfort to the scene. He's on the phone right there. There was Jonathan Gannon and the rest of the brass there in Arizona looking in. So the pick's technically not yet in, but it looks like they were delivering it right there for the Arizona Cardinals.
They did a nice job.
All right, we're back. Arizona Cardinals.
I'm looking that up. I think they the offensive line, but I don't love my offensive.
Probably defense. Front seven. Got Josh Sweat. I think I had Shamar Stewart going here in my final mock draft. Big time. And my justification was this. So you have a defensive-minded head coach coming from Philadelphia. If Philly was at pick 16, if Howie Roseman was here, looking at the roster, he's picking Shamar Stewart. He's building the trenches. He's getting the freak of nature athlete. So maybe that rubbed off on all Murph from Impractical Jokers, and that will be the selection from Arizona. Go out, completely revamp their pass rush, get Josh Sweat, put Shamar Stewart on the other side, trust that Murr will develop him. Someone's going to have to take the swing on Shamar Stewart. And if he does land in the right spot that can figure it out, put all the pieces in order, look out. Like the exact opposite of last year's first-round pick, Darius Robinson, who, not a great athlete. I don't know necessarily if there's any Cardinal fans in chat, let me know the vibes. Feel like vibes are not particularly high. You love the Paris Johnson selection. Probably not so much Darius Robinson. Oh, pick is in. My official prediction was Shamar Stewart. Let's see if I'm smart.
30 seconds into the Bengals being on the clock, the pick is in, and once it's announced, we will be halfway through this first round. And while we're waiting for the commissioner to bring out the pick, what do you think the story is of it's the trade at the top? Jack, my gosh, making that move, that's the story so far.
Tony Khan off the top rope. I mean, that was no neck brace this time. No neck brace this time.
Check out Jaguars draft camp. What's up, Tony? Congrats again to the Jaguars for making that massive.
And also, Shedeur Sanders. No Shedeur Sanders so far, and this is kind of what we started hearing.
Man, could Seattle go Shedeur? We're just talking about on the broadcast Shedeur Sanders' fall.
To 21 in Pittsburgh, but there's no backstop after 21, and so those
Has to be a wide receiver for Arizona? Really? I mean, it could. Like, who's their wide receiver 2 right now? Michael Wilson?
Selection. They have two of the first 4 picks tomorrow night.
And New Orleans is another team. Just still, can they move back in if that's the case?
And I just think if Cleveland and the Giants both like the same quarterback, it'll be fascinating.
Talon, have they ever cut to a war room where everyone... Man, Philadelphia, when they selected Milton Williams, literally, there was like Howie Roseman and a guy were like, what, like motherfucking each other. Funny clip. They wanted Aleem McNeil. Like, both those guys hit, so they would have been right either way. But that's the only time I've ever seen it.
The Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan, defensive tackle.
Fuck!
All right, so they go interior defensive line here. Daniel?
Yeah, they were active in free agency. Calais Campbell to see what they get out of him at the end here. Dalvin Tomlinson was brought in. They drafted Darius Robinson, edge rusher, in the first round last year. So they go back to that defensive line.
Come along. He didn't have much of a rookie year.
I always think, Charles, you kind of are where you came in Philadelphia again. So you look at the trenches here.
Damn.
Upfield version. I'm hoping you can
Not surprised.
ultimate upside would be
Truly felt in my heart of hearts. See, I don't know if he was like, I don't, I didn't say Arizona. I said Cincinnati and Minnesota were like the two that I was worried about. But like, even if Walter Nolan went 17, I thought at the end of the day, if Philly wanted to get Walter Nolan, they'd have to trade up.
go to is to get on an edge and get up the field.
And Walter Nolan can learn beside man of the year and Calais.
But I mean, hey, not doomsday scenario, right?
Next on the clock here is
Now, if Malachi Starks goes before our selection, then I honestly might be hoping for trade back. There's scenarios if this draft plays out that at pick 32, I'd be let's get out of that pick. Let's hose somebody that wants to come up and get a Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. Learn from the mistake. Let me tell you a story, okay? A couple years ago, Philly did some weird thing that had them get the 32nd overall pick. I don't know why we picked there again. Very frustrating that we had to wait all that time to make that pick. That was the year that Baltimore wanted to get Lamar Jackson. Baltimore traded up with the Eagles. And Philly, if you're looking at like a trade calculator of like pick value trade, like it was dead on value. Like a perfect valuation trade between the Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. But the fact of the matter is that we knew as the Eagles that we had all the holding power, that Baltimore wanted to trade up to get that fifth-year option on a fucking Heisman Trophy winning potential generational quarterback in Lamar Jackson. You do not make that trade getting fair value. And that was just like a battle of two titans of front office between the Eagles and Howie Roseman and DeCosta. I think DeCosta was there. I don't know if Ozzie was still there. And the Baltimore Ravens. You do not fucking do a fair trade there. If they trade up, like, what do you trade up for a guard? Okay, maybe. But when you know it's for a quarterback, you have got to get someone to overpay. So if that's the case here this year, Philly's at pick 32. And we know that someone, like you're looking, it's Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. Like the vibes are like it's a team that needs, the Giants are trading back up there. That was a popular scenario that I saw. You gotta hose them. I would love it to be, oh my God, if we could fuck the Giants over. Like imagine, just pure, this could not even happen. Pick us in, we're gonna just scroll down here a little bit. A scenario where it's like, all right, we're gonna take, we'll give you 32. Like, Philly gives them 32 and, like, a third-round pick. We get a couple seconds. We get their second this year. We get their second next year, and, like, Kayvon Thibodeau. Oh. Give me that. But we're still way too far away for me to start, like, narrowing down, like, who am I going to be happy for? Who am I going to lose my fucking mind if we draft? I guess just to entertain it, because Walter Nolan was like the big name. I know a lot of Eagle fans here that we were hoping for. My C4 power rankings of players that I would want. I've just had them in the yes pile. Will Johnson in the yes pile. I honestly, if Philly ends up getting Shamar Stewart, that means Vic Fangio said, yep, I can make that work. So I will put Shamar Stewart in the yes pile. Ezra Raku from Boston College is in the yes pile. I would say Derek Harmon from Oregon is in the yes pile. Jahad Campbell is in the yes pile. I would say Maxwell Hairston. And if, in hindsight, we are done with Dallas Goedert and we end up overdrafting Mason Taylor, I think Mason Taylor would be the reach. And I think at the end of the day, I'll live with it because I do think awesome player, only 20 years old. And if we're moving on from Goddard, we need someone that can play that tight end position and have that ceiling. I can live with that. But, we still got a whole lot of picks here. So it's no point getting worried just yet. Pick is in for the Bengals. Who this could be, it has to be defense. Absolutely has to be defense. Bengals roster building strategy from here on out, after paying all the guys on offense, has to be rookie contracts on good starting defensive players. So, I think Derek Harmon could make sense if they want to go build the trenches. There's pass rushers, Mike Green, James Pierce. They could go Shamar Stewart. I think my last two Bengals rebuilds, I did James Pierce and then a Shamar Stewart selection here. Both worked out. I think Shamar Stewart was a little bit better. He's actually kind of super cheesy in Madden. Bengals could go offensive line here as well. Josh Simmons would be, but don't they have Orlando Brown and Amarius Mims at tackle? So then you look on the interior like Zabel from North Dakota State, Donovan Jackson from Ohio State. They could go offense. I think they kind of have to go defense here. I don't think there's. Is there secondary? Like Cam Taylor-Britt's good. You got Dax Hill. You got. There's another guy that I'm forgetting right now, but he's pretty solid.
And the reason why Seattle has a second round pick is because that's what the Steelers coughed up for DK Metcalf.
But when you look at if they go pass rush, I'm seeing the chat too, Shamar makes sense. It kind of does, because red flags on Mike Green, red flags on James Pierce, kind of word on the street. Shamar Stewart, no red flags, just athletic. But who's the last athlete they went for a pass rusher? Miles Murphy. What has he done? Have they developed him whatsoever? Now they got a new defensive coordinator coming in. That's big pressure, though. New DC for him to go get me a project player and let me develop them. That is a very big swing and gamble.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart,
There you go. That's what they're doing.
Texas A&M.
You'd like to highlight Miles Murphy. That didn't work out. Could this be Miles? But it's a new regime on the defensive side of the ball, so you want to be cautiously optimistic. They go for the guy with no character issues, guy who's 6'5", played at 290, listed at 267. I'm going to guess he's probably 275, 280. I think he's going to play probably a little bit, but insane athlete. Bengals, and then it's worth the swing. You gamble so much with the contract and your salary cap, prioritize on the offensive side of the ball, that you look at the available defensive players and you see Shamar Stewart has the highest ceiling, and we need this guy to be on that rookie contract, hitting that highest ceiling. It probably won't be year one. Maybe if they move Trey Hendrickson, you might have to throw him to the Wolves a little bit. But when you get it gets thrown around. Generational unicorn, however you want to say for these big time athletes. He is truly a generational athlete at a defensive end position. You're getting him at 17 with little to no college production because you're look at this goddamn athlete. We're going to make it work. So I get the swing for the Bengals. I think I like it. End of the day, like that pick. Seattle up next at 18. Ooh, I guess you could be Shador. Could be a Shador landing spot. I think in my last mock draft, I had them go Will Johnson. And I'll be honest, Will Johnson goes. That pool of players that I was kind of spitballing that'd be happy for the Eagles to get at 32 is getting smaller. But, again, don't know the 100% if Seattle's coach and Will Johnson overlapped at Michigan. I feel like yes. I just can't remember what year he got the Ravens DC job. He was in Ravens DC for 2 years. I feel like might have been freshman. He might have been a part of recruiting Will Johnson, if I had to guess. Maybe Jackson Dart. Yeah, quarterback could absolutely go here to Seattle. I do feel like if that was the plan, Rowan Jackson, I think they would try to trade back. a little bit. Like they would trade back with a team that doesn't need quarterback. But it also, if you want to go quarterback, you want to pick ahead of the Steelers because I think that's kind of obvious right now that Shador is on a one-way flight to Pittsburgh right now.
Ironically, the guy picked right before Walter Nolan was his teammate before he transferred from Texas A&M to Ole Miss.
Well, there you go. So he's going to Cincinnati, which, as you pointed out, man, all they had is a defensive stop here, defensive stop there. They make the playoffs, and then who knows? That was the one team. Anybody who had already made the playoffs in the AFC did not want to deal with.
They don't have to make a leap into the top 10. They just need to get them
Any Bengal fans here?
if you get back to average. They got
Someone go ask Bengal what he thinks about this pick for his team.
on the defensive side of the ball. I can promise you it will not be last. So they have a lot more work to do.
Who's still got on the board here? Jahdae Barron, Jahad Campbell, Marion Hampton, Marcus Golden, Nick Amenworry, Ezra Aku. Still some big names here.
Seattle may have wanted a trade out, but they didn't. Their pick is in. We're going to get their pick in short order.
All right, we got Seattle next up on the clock.
Maybe take it away.
Shamar, you are laser focused in this moment. Is this the
What do you think about the draft hats?
to a Bengals defense?
I went like years just getting the draft hat every year. Loved it. This year's draft hat, I'm on the fence. Like I've been very clear cut. Like I got, I don't know where it's at. I got the hats where like the brim was like a city skyline. Insane draft hat. Like that hat there, priceless. Heirloom for me. That's gonna get passed down to my son if he gets a big head like me. Last couple years have zero interest. Draft hats have been hideous. This year, I don't know. I love the simplicity of like the faceplate, the little like Seattle had like a Yeti or something there, which is cool. Philly has the bell, which yeah, it is what it is. I just don't know if I love like that's like a military brim, has like that weird floral. Don't know. I'm on the fence. Like that might be a hat that, like if I see it, I'd get it on sale or something like that. Fucking hats are like $80. Thanks, Donald Trump in Canada.
Looks like the rehab is kicked in. The commission handled everything coming at him this year. Like he is standing strong and firm, and he's giving back as good as is coming in. Happy for the commission. Good year, good off season of rehab.
I mean, yeah, for the Bengals going defense, their offense is good to go. Could go always go O-line. But got to go defense, dude. Can't just go in another year. It's like, hopefully we outscore the other team every week. All right, Seattle, my prediction, Will Johnson. I hope not, but I had it in my predictive mock draft.
The Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel, guard,
Oh,
There's your guy.
okay.
My favorite player in the draft, and
It's,
why on the screen. 5 position flex. He's played tackle. He proved at the
need, interior offensive line, need. He can play everywhere. Tackle, guard, center. Versatility there. Don't think you hate that pick. That seems just, again, not sexy. There's pretty much no slow clap, congrat offensive line picks in the first round at this point. I maybe like if someone had the balls, go get Josh Simmons, just because like if that I like that gamble if it works out. But that's just like that's a solid pick for Seattle. Small school player. But anytime those small school players go to like the Senior Bowl and like, oh shit, this guy's fucking awesome. Remember like Quinn Minards did it. Obviously North Dakota State's they send as many guys to the NFL as a lot of Division I teams.
The big thing for them, can they keep those tackles healthy?
So what's that O-line? For like the O-line, you have Charles Cross at left tackle, Abe Lucas at right tackle, and then the interior you'll have Gray Zabel probably at one of the guard spots. What else?
I like to sleep cool.
And I like to sleep even cooler.
I really like it when we both get what we want.
Meet the Sleep Ever Climate Cool Smart Bed. Sleep up to 15 degrees cooler on
Like literally, I couldn't tell you who the fuck the other starters are for Seattle. Feel like they got a dude from Michigan at center. I don't no idea can't remember what his name is. Christian Haynes. Be like a name that I would. So again, interior offensive line, regardless of Zabel plays guard or center. Need pick for Seattle, getting a guy in the first round. Mitch says Seahawks try to trade back. Philly, New England, Cleveland, and New York Giants all candidates. No one budged. So Seattle was asking for too much. Now, I love to hear that Philly's trying to trade up, which means they want one of those fucking guys on defense.
Told you, you cannot legally say homes.com is the best.
What if she says it as Morgan?
So we have Tampa Bay. In my predictive mock draft, I had them going Matthew Golden.
That's our new name.
I would say right now, if I'm guessing, I'd say Matthew Golden. Will Johnson's probably going to be, I'm putting that for like every team from here on out. Everyone needs a corner. I'd say Will Johnson, Matthew Golden, Ezraku, or Jihad Campbell. Those would be like, I think one of them guys is coming off the board here. That's probably why Philly wanted to trade up too. They're worried like Tampa's gonna. Philly's dream draft board's probably going to shrink after this pick 19 for Tampa. Luther Burden, maybe. I think Burden's too close stylistically to Chris Godwin. And they just gave him that big time contract, so like they're not really worried about like when he's gonna be ready from his. I still can't believe that, dude. That I'm gonna hold that against Todd Bowles for the rest of his coaching career. Now, casual take a little bit here. I drafted Chris Godwin in fantasy football. Awesome player, regardless. But yeah, like, he was killing it. He was like one of the best wide receivers in fantasy. And then Todd Bowles had him out in garbage time. Just fucking wrecks his knee, dude. Unbelievable. Probably the reason why I didn't win my league this year. I'm putting it on Todd fucking Bowles. But predictive mock draft, I had Tampa going Matthew Golden. I could see them going Jihad Campbell here. We're going to go one pick here so I don't see it. Denver Broncos on the clock. That's a real interesting spot. I had Denver in my last mock go Luther Burden. Marion Hampton's been popular, like a skill position guy for Denver at 20. Could be they could go, like, do they fucking make the big jump, go Mason Taylor at tight end? Because a lot of people have Denver going like Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren if he was falling a little bit. Philly wanted Jihad Campbell. That's what I want to hear, buddy. I hope that's true. I hope these report, because that's Vic fans are going, oh man, Zach Bond was sick. Why don't we get another Zach Bond? That'd be fucking awesome. Just like you don't know if they're going to drop back into coverage or be also a legit pass rusher. Pardon my French, getting a little sweary here. Take a sip of water. Might need a piss break coming up. You're predicting Jihad Campbell. Now, Jihad, I mean, that's a guy that you have to know how, you have to have a plan in place before. And again, we've been able to at least judge the pick by the coach's reaction. Defensive coaches have been getting defensive guys. Todd Bowles looked very happy there. Now, they did a lot of homework on Matthew Golden, so maybe they're like, yes, we got a guy that we studied a lot. But that looked like we got a defensive guy reaction. Daniel Jeremiah's best available. Jahdae Barron, Jihad Campbell, Will Johnson. What's the safety situation looking like? You got Antoine Winfield and who else? Could they go Eamon Worry? Could that be a guy that, you know? Todd Bowles like, I'm going to make him a hybrid. Like I do in Madden. Just make him sub linebacker, let him eat. Just come on, somebody I don't want the Eagles to get. That's going to be my take for every single pick. I think we should feel good. Pretty obvious what's going on at 21 for Pittsburgh. Okay, well, we're here. And we're just if Shedeur, okay, clearly now, you know, you got Shedeur, very polarizing player. You either like Shedeur or you don't like him. Okay, we'll talk about this after this pick because it's probably going to happen. Tampa Bay, please, Matthew Golden, don't snipe someone from the Eagles. Philly trying to trade up. Oh! Spoiled it! Happy with that. What the fuck, man? The Chris Godwin disrespect. Fuck yeah, man. That's a good roll. I don't want to turn this into an Eagles draft reaction show, but from here on out, every pick is going to be me also watching it as an Eagle fan. Nice. I mean, Ibuka, the Chris Godwin, he's a slot wide receiver. Very good. I think he was a first rounder. Very high floor. Maybe as far as skill position is concerned, probably Genti 1. You can make an argument that Emeka Ibuka might have the second highest ceiling for these first round skill position players. He's a slot guy. Chris Godwin's a slot guy. Chris Godwin, bad injury. So even maybe more of a slot guy. Like, what's the juice, the loss of juice potential? You know what I'm saying? So that's a move that you love that pick if they let Chris Godwin walk and they didn't re-sign him. But the fact that you did, that makes it a little weird. But assuming Tampa Bay finds a way to get all three of these guys on the field, which obviously that has got to be the plan. A lot of weapons for Baker Mayfield. But when I was like kind of researching my mock drafts a little bit, it didn't seem like wide receiver was a favorite pick amongst Buck fans. So that's interesting. But there you go. Okay, my point. Go Shedeur Sanders now. Very polarizing player. Seems like you either like him or hate him. I am on the side of I like him. I wouldn't say that I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan or stan, but I like him. Some other people fucking hate his guts. But humbling experience right now. Now, even though everyone kind of like the Vegas odds and stuff shifted that he was going to fall, he still was at some point for a lot of the process in the discussion for the top quarterback, and like, well, maybe he'll go to the Giants, maybe he'll go to the Browns, maybe he'll be a top 5 pick. Fact that he's fallen all the way down to 21. Assuming you don't hate the Steelers because of your personal favorite team, is there an element of like, kind of want to see him fucking prove everyone wrong? You know? Like, that's where, like, I feel like if I was indifferent to Shedeur Sanders, I'd be like, man, fucking go there and ball out of Pittsburgh, dude. So, I don't know. I think maybe that could do well for his image. A little bit of a humbling draft fall, embarrassing. He has his fucking probably some super stupid over-the-top draft party. Sitting there waiting. Not like Aaron Rodgers' fall. Like way back when. But like somewhat similar where it's just like, just keep showing him as it falls down. You know he's going in the first round. Maybe he goes to Pittsburgh. Figures it out with George Pickens and DK. I know there's been like some murmurs that George Pickens could be on the trade block, but assuming he goes there with that O-line, Pickens, DK, Freiermuth, got Jalen Warren and Kenny Gainwell in the backfield. I'll just say right there. If he goes to Pittsburgh, I'm pulling for him. I hope he kills it, hope he crushes it, and hope Pittsburgh finally gets a quarterback that can make them relevant in the AFC. Football is better when Pittsburgh is not just, they'll make the playoffs because of their defense, but they're not going to beat anyone serious. Let's make the Steelers a legit contender again. Say that as bias. Hope Denver goes skill position. My last predictive mock draft, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden's on the board. They could say, fuck it, go Marion Hampton. Big Marion Hampton fan. Don't know if Talon's still in chat. I know he's a big North Carolina guy. Just from here on out, please don't take the guy I want. I love, give me Will Johnson, Jahad Campbell at pick 32. Give me that option. The Steelers haven't proven capable of developing young quarterback, but who have they had that actually had franchise quarterback traits? Like, I'm thinking, you had Mason Rudolph. No. You had Kenny Pickett. Everyone knew immediately that was a shit pick. There was not, I don't even think there's, oh wait, Denver's pick is in. I don't think there was really, even the most optimistic Steeler fan was just like, I hope it works out. Kenny Pickett, weak quarterback class, should have been probably a 3rd round pick, developmental quarterback. I don't think the Steelers have had much to work with. Shador would give them that. Yeah, you got Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, all that stuff doesn't really apply to the current regime that's there, like Mike Tomlin. But yeah, they did hit. They draft a quarterback high. They get Ben Roethlisberger. It works out. All right, Denver's pick is in. Please go offense.
Hampton is out there. We see back-to-back Ohio State players. Trevion Henderson, as we know, has been shooting up draft boards if the Broncos do want to go.
Oh, man, I can see the Eagles pick right now on the little ticker. Look at that right there, baby. We are close.
Their pick is in. We are 40 seconds and change into the Steelers' pick with the
Let's see. You know, right now I'm looking at the they're showing the draft room, the war room of the Broncos. You know, Sean Payton. This is not. That looks like offense. I like that we've been kind of right, judging off of the head coach reaction, what position it is.
We do not know if the Steelers are going to pick him. My understanding is, as of yesterday, they were going back and forth. Is the value worth it? Split in the room. We will see what decision they make.
But I think, honestly, for Pittsburgh, too, you could have Kenny Pickett vibes over Shador, where it's like not a super strong quarterback class. Are you making the right call here? But I think 100% I would be locked in. Give me the gamble of Shador. See if it works out. Mike Tomlin got to swing for the fences. All right, we got Denver. Let's go.
with a special guest to announce the Broncos selection.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud
Man, this kid has the same haircut as my son, and I am not a fan of it. But he's doing a Make-A-Wish. Fucking love Make-A-Wish kids. So let's go, baby. Don't pick who I want.
coming true right now.
Get Luther Burden. Make me look smart.
17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer.
Nice. Cancer survivor. Let's go, baby.
His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
So the 10th player on your top
Okay.
is the 20th overall selection. High quality.
That works. That works from an Eagles standpoint. That works. For the Broncos, honestly don't know. We got some Bronco fans to give some vibes here. You got a nickel corner at 20. Good nickel corner. I think Cooper DeJean showed the value of a good nickel corner. If they did a redraft, I bet you Cooper DeJean goes in the first round last year as a nickel corner. So, I'm trying to think of nickel situation. Obviously, you have PS2 on the outside. Great White Hope, Riley Moss on the other side. Yeah, sure. I mean, still surprised it wasn't an offensive guy, but value is there. Daniel Jeremiah is number 10th ranked player, going at 20. I think Dane Brugler. Let's see, where do you have Barron? First, second rounder. So, I mean, he's right in there. We had Will Johnson ahead of him. I personally also would have Will Johnson ahead of him. But, first rounder. Not a reach. Oh, man, I forgot they got Dre Greenlaw. If he gets back healthy, that's a nice linebacker fit. Nick Bonito had a breakout. Zach Allen was awesome in Arizona. I thought that was a steal when they got him in free agency. Let's see, Pittsburgh, are they going to run this clock down or just, run in Shador? They're going to think about it. They try to trade back. And they're like, does anybody want Shador standard before we pick him? It's kind of like the last slice of pizza. But not a great pizza. Not like a Meat Lovers. Like, it's a last slice of room temperature cheese pizza. You're like, I'm hungry. I'll eat it. Does anyone else want this? That is this pick for Pittsburgh.
Is Shador Sanders on the other end of the line? I mean, that is basically the question. this draft if Shador wasn't going to go 3rd overall to the Giants or 9th overall to the Saints, then would he go?
It does not look like they just showed Shador Sanders live, fan cam. Does not look like he's talking to his agent, so.
This is moments ago, we're told. So if it doesn't happen here,
But they're taking pictures.
when does it happen?
There's a guy taking pictures, and you have.
And if it's not Shador, who could it be? I know they were really eyeing defensive line.
Yeah, we're looking at defensive tackle.
Okay, I'd say, okay, if we're not going Shador Sanders, Derek Harmon might be the pick here.
He's my highest rated defensive tackle that's still out there right now.
Man, I almost feel like Philly's getting Jahad Campbell. I feel like Daniel Jeremiah might have been right. Looking at the top available, looking at the teams picking ahead of us. Ooh. Only had Jahad Campbell going in my first 6 Eagles mock drafts. Now, some of that was before we signed Zach Bond, but Jackson Dart. I'll tell you right now, man, if you guys get Jackson Dart, you know ball. Pick is in. Gotta get it off. Gotta get it off there.
By Kenny Pickett report, his strengths and weaknesses lined up with Shador's strengths and weaknesses as a player. They took one ride on that roller coaster in this
Come on, man. Let's make this pick. Here we go. Come on, dude, Shador. Sure would be so interesting.
draft, and we're not understating it. The mystery's about to end.
Don't be boring. Go Derek Harmon or something like that.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon.
Oh. That was a any mock draft that I had that had Shador going like to New Orleans or had him going to the Browns or the Giants. I was more often than not going Derek Harmon there. They showed a lot of interest in him pre-draft. Fits that defensive line needs. But with Shador on the board, wow. Where's Shador going? I guess, is someone going to trade up for him?
against the pass. And line of scrimmage, Pittsburgh Steelers, something feels kind of right about that.
The last time they chose a defensive lineman in the first round is a guy who will be welcoming him in to the program. The guy all the way on the left, Cam Hayward. So they went there. They did not go quarterback.
I mean, maybe the Steelers are.
This year's draft to trade back into the first round. Maybe they will tomorrow, but for the moment, we move on to the
Interesting. Maybe they're not done. Maybe they might trade up to get a quarterback again. Who knows? I'd actually almost love that to happen because I did one mock draft with trades, and it felt like I was committing football terrorism on the NFL community, uploading that to YouTube. But in that, I had the Steelers trade up for Shador Sanders, and it'd be kind of cool if in one way or another that happens. But I don't know, man. I think you pass on him there, you're good. Mike Tomlin did not want to deal with that. They thought he'd be Kenny Pickett 2.0.
For your insurance and financial needs,
Wow.
is on your side.
Explore hand-picked hotels through the edit.
I mean, okay, look, like where could he possibly go? The Rams?
With Chase Sapphire Reserve. Make
Don't you dare say QB Factory Philadelphia. I mean, the Rams could go Shador. That'd be cool.
Stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down.
Get Stafford to play for another year.
This stuff works on dandelions, crab.
McVay might be able to make it. I don't know, though. Like, honestly, unless we see, like, someone that needs a quarterback trade up, I do think it would be hilarious. As much as I am pulling for Shador, if Jackson Dart goes ahead of him. I think that's a little ridiculous. I think they're adjacent as you're taking the swing of maybe there'll be a quarterback. Steelers don't have a second-round pick either, so they'd have to trade next year's firsts. I don't think, no, the Vikings, they got McCarthy. They won't do that. And the Vikings were going to screw up their quarterback room. They would have paid Sam Darnold to keep him there. Or brought in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I guess they still could kind of do. Is that what the Steelers do? Are they going to go back to the Aaron Rodgers wagon? That'd be, I don't know. I'd watch it.
And tickets are on sale now for
Oh, sorry. Let's show these ones. Steelers go Derek Harmon. Tracks. If they weren't going Shador, looking at that board, Harmon made the most sense. Harmon or Will Johnson if they want to get another corner on the outside. Joey Porter Jr. That'd be a nice tandem. Joey Porter Jr., Will Johnson, two long outside corners.
Beating in rhythm to the world you've created.
Just in a commercial break here. Buying for time. Okay, the Chargers are on the clock. What do we got here for the Chargers? Will you expand this? Does it give needs? Tight end. So they can go Mason Taylor. Wide receiver. They can go Matthew Golden. Add some much-needed speed out there. Spit a little bit when I speed. D-line. Marion Hampton. Yes, sir. I don't know who's left on D-line. Not really much D-line, honestly, if you're looking for it.
What the hell is going on with that guy on the run? I don't know what's happening there. I mean, there's the gimp. Is that the Chargers gimp? I don't know. But Charger faithful.
Kenneth Grant's gone. Derek Harmon's gone. Walter Nolan's gone. Mason Graham's gone. Tyleik Williams, Ohio State. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that's necessarily a reach in the first round. Wide receiver, Luther Burden. But, I mean, again, Luther Burden, slot gadget guy. You had that with Ladd McConkey. So I do think Matthew Golden could be an interesting selection here. I know they have good safeties, but, man, Nick Emanwuri and Derwin James in the same secondary could be pretty nuts. Also got, I don't know what their corner. They just lost Asante Samuel. Will Johnson, Michigan. Harbaugh, Michigan. Very easy, put the pieces together. Need a Joey Bosa successor. Okay, so again, I don't think Mike Green's going in the first round. So, 2 sexual assault, that is you're falling to the third, and best of luck to you. So, James Pierce Jr., if they aren't worried about the stiffness, pause, and you just want to grab explosive, productive SEC pass rusher, could go that way. Ezeraku, Boston College, seems like a Harbaugh guy. Really hope, Ezeraku's in that bubble of guys that really hopes in Philly's range. But we're still not there to talk about that. We're focusing here on the Chargers. I bet you Green Bay Packer fans are dying that Matthew Golden's going to be available there. Let's get another swing. Kind of over Christian Watson. Let's get another fast guy and see if that works out a little more consistently. Will Johnson has a knee thing that's causing him to slide, is the word. A knee thing, huh?
Would you agree with that? Been up there.
Well, to me, the speed was going to be the question. And so with scheme-wise, the man-heavy teams, okay, maybe he's not a fit for us. The Chargers, when it came to man percentage last year, was only they were like 30th in terms of playing man coverage. So they're going to play off. He's played in that.
Wow, Daniel Jeremiah making a case for Will Johnson here. Good scheme fit. Yeah, apparently Will Johnson falling, according to Ian Rappaport, knee things. And this pick, they are scrambling. This is probably the most nervous draft room I've seen. Chargers draft room not passing the vibe check. Now, for everyone that watched Gravity Falls, Jim Harbaugh is Grunkle Stan. Okay, that's a fact. Fact of matter. I would take a flyer at 32. Hey, Philly did extra homework late on Will Johnson. So I imagine word got back to Howie Roseman. There's a knee thing. Let's do our due diligence. Come on, man. Look at this. This is vibes are not strong. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Are they trading now?
I don't know. The Chargers are still on the clock for some reason. No, Green Bay now is, so we're gonna. Now that's why the fans just.
All right, pick is in.
I mean, Matthew.
There's a guy with a Chargers mask that looks absolutely insane.
I mean, that 40 was incredible.
My three top offensive players, skill guys. You've got Omarion Hampton, the running back. You've got Matthew Golden, the wide receiver.
Go running back, Marion Hampton.
The tight end is Mason Taylor.
Let's get some predictions in chat. Who are the Chargers going? This is a true wild card.
Jason Taylor's son. He can go also defensively if he does want to go dip back into Michigan. In Will Johnson. There's Hampton as well. Jahan Campbell. 12th on your draft board, still sitting up there.
Yeah, he's an off-the-ball linebacker. Some believe he can rush off of the edge. They've got some stud young off-the-ball linebackers that they really, really like there. So that one, he's a great player. I love him. I just don't know for them exactly how he would fit their value at this point.
And similar to Will Johnson, there was a few flags thrown up about the injury situation. There's a knee situation with Campbell, some shoulder situations there. So I think that's why he's falling to this point. But this Chargers pick is, to me, it's fascinating because of all the areas they could go. We've seen this a couple of times. Colts, they had a pick of the litter. Falcons, pick of the litter where they needed players. And I feel like that's a similar situation with the Chargers right here.
And with all those needs and all those options, does it not come back to who do we like best on our
We got Jahan Campbell, Matthew Golden.
That's how Joe was trained in ball. That's what it feels like here.
I feel like Campbell will be overlap a little too much with Tui Pelotu. Kind of like that undersized pass rusher. Do you want two of those? Ain't the pick, dude. Worst vibe pick of the draft. 22 to the Chargers.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion.
Marion Hampton! Let's go, dude. Baller. That guy, fantasy football, boom. Very second round, all mine. Gobbling him up in all the drafts I can. Beast, dude. Absolute monster. Now, I think the only thing I would knock against him, maybe not the best vision, kind of like you got to have the O-line that creates the holes for him to hit, which, you know, goes back to running back being a luxury pick. You draft a running back when you have the O-line in place. You look at that offensive line for the Chargers, pretty damn good. You know, Zion Johnson has a better season. You got Joe Alt, which is absolute home run. Slater home run. You know, Kai Becton, big ticket out there. Like, this is a team that is going to be built to be able to run the football. Hampton's I like the pick. I like it. I love seeing him go in the first round. It is the revival of the running back. Running backs are getting valued again, and that is great for football. 2 first-round running backs. Imagine saying that 3-4 years ago. You'd have the worst mock draft on the internet. So now we have Green Bay. I'm sure they are screaming. Probably haven't seen a pick like this since the Colts got Tyler Warren. Please go wide receiver. Please give us Matthew Golden. Please give us Luther Burden. I don't know what other wide receivers are still available. And they could also go Will Johnson. Corner is a need. Like, corner, wide receiver are probably the two big wants for the Packers. So Will Johnson, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Maxwell Hairston could be in that bubble there. So I think, honestly, I mean, if it isn't one of those two positions, if they don't go corner or wide receiver, not feeling great. But I imagine you go to that franchise guy stream. He's probably loving the players that are available. And Colleen Wolf is back on the screen, everybody. Not creepy about it, just respecting it. If you're starting a franchise, what right tackle are you going with, Sewell or Alt? Now, you got to answer that question. Are they both all things equal contract-wise? Because all things not equal contract-wise, I'm getting Joe Alt with those extra rookie years. Because, what, he has 3 extra years on a rookie contract. Starting team, I'm going with Sewell, better player right now. Joe Alt, potential to be level and a lot cheaper. Don't have to pay him $1 trillion sooner. All things equal, I'm probably going Sewell.
And that was the last time they took a wide receiver in the first round. They have taken pass catchers in the first round. But here in the home of the Green Bay Packers, we're less than 5 minutes away from this awesome draft.
So I'm just going to say for Green Bay,
Packer is here. I know you were asking.
I think in my mock draft I had them go Amika Ibuka. So Matthew Golden being the next highest rated available wide receiver. Let's slot him in there to 23. Get that 4.3 speed out there for Jordan Love.
A lot of cheese curds in that crowd.
Remember Green Bay has a population of 107,000 people. Well, they each brought a buddy. Yeah, brought a friend of their own here. You show and bring one with you.
Listen to this.
If they go wide,
Hold on a second.
this place is going to explode.
Where's the base? Oh, da-da-da-da.
Packers are actively trying to trade back at this spot. Again, we all know Philly could be trying to trade up. I'm not going to try to make everything about Philly, but they're looking at that board. As an Eagle fan, the Vikings scare me. That's probably the biggest team left. I think if we can get past Minnesota and get to the final stretch, anything could happen. But I think Minnesota is like high probability they're going to take someone that I'm not going to be very happy with as an Eagle fan. Looking at the best available remaining, just update, Eagle fan, Jahad Campbell, Ezra Aku, Malachi Starks. Those would probably be the big three. I think I'd put Will Johnson out there, and then the potential reach of Mason Taylor. I can live with it if Goddard's good is gone, and we have no other plan at tight end. What are the Vikings doing? I think if I am the Vikings, Will Johnson would, again, now Will Johnson has a knee thing, so who really knows? Before hearing about knee thing, I would say Will Johnson makes a lot of sense. I mean, just looking at the defensive guys that are available from a Viking standpoint, I think there's a lot of guys. Brian Flores is like, yes, sir. I mean, do you think Eamon Warry can learn this year and then succeed Harrison Smith? Same can be said for Malachi Starks. Do you think where is Malachi Starks? Is not even. Am I tripping? Malachi Starks is on page 2 of this. Whoa. Okay, NFL Network. Page 2, Malachi Starks, huh? God damn. But yeah, let's see. Pick is in. They're doing handshakes.
maybe I'm just biased for the moment right here with these, multiple 100,000 people behind me, but Jordan Love in this division is going to need to score points.
But as of right now, so they're playing again.
We got Draft Insider Mitch in chat. Has boots on the ground in the front offices here. Knows the trades. Says Philly couldn't get this one across the line. I do feel like, based off of information, probably Malachi Starks would be who Philly's trying to trade up for. Just because they brought him in, Georgia Bulldogs, yada, yada. But I can't see feeling like I can see these teams being like, give us a second, throw a second in there. Nope, no chance. We got Canadian Sidney Brown if you don't want to do business. All right, pick is in. Let's cover it. Let's see. Let's go. No, those not strong vibes pick. Took forever. Bad omen for the Green Bay Packers going into next season. A lot of picks in store for Jordan Love potentially with the confidence and lack thereof of this selection at 23.
If Matthew Golden's the pick, all those kids will be racing for their bikes right now to be first in line for the summer. I'll tell you what, I got a lot of respect.
Matthew Golden. That'd be very interesting. That's got to be probably the fan consensus right now for Green Bay. Finally,
Steadfast in her belief.
There's so many people at that draft.
For the first draft in
Couldn't pay me to be there.
and the first round pick of the Packers to be announced
That is too many people.
to the stage.
What do you have to do? Your front row, you gotta piss. Just piss your pants at the draft. Who's this guy announcing the pick with them? Is that Sid Vicious? Psycho Sid? You gotta hit a top rope, big boot, and snap his leg in half?
Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers president and CEO, Mark Murphy.
This draft's in Green Bay, right? Oh, it's gotta be Matthew Golden. You gotta get the cheap pop with the fans. Psycho Sid's about to get the cheap pop, get Matthew Golden.
Roger, thank you. In the NFL,
Imagine having a team president make the first pick and it sucks. That's all-time meme clip. Like, imagine Jerry Jones makes like a terrible bus pick. You're never not showing that every year at draft time.
Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL draft at Lambeau Field.
Thank you for welcoming us to the draft. We're at pick 23. 3 hours in, buddy.
Our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL.
Only community-owned team in the NFL.
Just out of
Be very proud of that.
curiosity, you are owners. Yes. We also have the best owners in the NFL. And we also want to celebrate the special
Make the pick, dude.
fans that dates back to
I hope you draft a punter.
professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002,
It's Matthew Golden.
draft a wide receiver. Listen to this crowd. Oh, baby. Matthew Golden, wide
There you go. Good pick. Like the strong. You know what? They just redeemed themselves. That is very, very strong vibes. That's a strong redemption vibe pick for taking that long. 4.29 speed wide receiver. Big time weapon for Jordan Love. Got the cheap Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid there. Got the cheap pop with the crowd. Introduced it to first wide receiver forever. Leaned into the meme about how the Green Bay Packers draft. That's a strong redemption vibe pick. Very good pick.
talk about giving the people what they want. Let's bring a draft to
Wow.
let's hold it in the
We got any Packer fans in chat? How are we feeling about that? Going wide out. Adding another wide receiver to a room of kind of solid, not game-changing wide receivers. I will say, not to sound casual again, just referring to fantasy football, but I didn't have Jaden Reed on my fantasy team, so I would key in. Feel like he could do a little more. Feel like you can get him a little more involved in the offense. I think there's a bigger playmaker there than what they've allowed him to do. But Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Reed, Matthew Golden. Got Bo Melton. Can't forget Bo Melton, Madden legend. They got dudes there. Run some air raid. So now we have Minnesota. Need that pick to this. I'm worried. This is a hold our breath as an Eagle fan type pick. Hopefully it's not something like Matthew Golden not on our board. That's good. Get that name off. I think Houston goes O-line. I think the Rams could go secondary a little bit. Pick is in for Minnesota, though. Strong pick. That's a confident pick. Must be at least half the clock remaining. Wow. Not a strong thing when you go Matthew Golden first round pick. He is 500 plus yards in the last 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the strongest resume.
Someone who ran 4.29, but not just a speed receiver. You see a lot of snap in his routes. Watch him when he gets to the top, the separation, the big time juice and burst he shows out of the break point.
All right, so for the Vikings, Again, corner, I think it's defense. Which is annoying because Philly's going to be keying in on defense. Man, Matthew Golden, all-time vibes winning right now. Do I think anyone's going to trade up for these quarterbacks? I mean, I feel like Baltimore's always will. I think the Rams are always willing to do business. They don't care about first-round picks. I think honestly, all these teams could be open for business if someone really wants to overpay a little bit for a quarterback. But I mean, Rams are the only team left that could possibly consider Shedeur Sanders. If Shedeur falling out of the first round would be rough. I think that's worse than Will Levis. I will say, I have a buddy that's a Rams fan that hates Shedeur Sanders. That'd be funny if the Rams go Shedeur. Levi, I have not stayed up with college football lately. How is the Bengals pick Shamar Stewart? I saw 11 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. You're getting. I assume, Levi, you play Madden, so you're getting a guy that's like elite in everything athletically. You're getting a guy 6'6", probably gonna play around 275, so bigger edge rusher. Ran sub 4.6. All the drills off the charts. Traits on traits on traits on traits. I would say if you had the old DC there, I'd be worried because he kind of did that with Miles Murphy. They didn't develop him. Kind of took a big athlete and tried to. So I would be worried if it was the same regime. The fact that it's a new regime, I love the confidence because the new DC there is going, okay, well, I'm going to literally, the first thing my job's going to do, I'm going to go with maybe the biggest project player in the draft, and we're going to make it work. So, big swing, but very high ceiling if he puts it all together. Minnesota Vikings. Fuck, please not someone I want. Let's go, baby. Philly brought him in for a visit. I actually like him as a player. In fact, what he did last year at Ohio State, being like, I'm a baller guard. I may be in the discussion for the best guard in the draft class. And he's like, oh, they got hurt. Josh Simmons fucking ruined his leg. He's like, oh, I got to save the national champion season. I'm going to be a 6'4" left tackle. Beast. Crushed it. Love the pick. I bet the Texans are pissed. That was my mock pick for the Texans. The Giants are on the clock. Oh, no. Jackson Dart is... I mean, they did the homework on Shedeur. I think that'd be fun. I'd embrace that. Anytime a new quarterback like that comes in, there's a chance that they're really good, and that's going to be super annoying as an Eagle fan. I think whatever they go, I'm going to laugh. Because if they go Jackson Dart and Shedeur ends up being the better player, everyone's going to go, really? You took Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders falling down there? That's funny. I think both Jackson Dart and or Shedeur Sanders, very fun for the Eagles to go destroy 2 times a year. I think from content purposes, if this is Shedeur, will be even funner. Because Shedeur's talk shit probably about the Eagles. Oh, man. What do we think in chat? Shador, Jackson Dart. Has to be a quarterback. They're not trading up. Jalen Milroe out of nowhere? A wild Jalen Milroe appears?
This is a big call, Christian. Big call, biggest call of your life.
Houston, what?
Finish. Which one you gonna do?
Houston traded back for pick 34 and a 6?
Call a timeout, Christian. London Scott.
What? That's the going rate of trading up? There's no way. There's no way the Giants gave pick 34 and a 6th-round pick to move up.
Will be released soon. We're ready for the new era here. It is adrenaline, excitement, the stage electric.
34, 99, and a 3rd. Okay, that ain't bad. That'd be like a trade back for my Eagles that I would probably consider giving the board. But it does look like a favorable board for Philadelphia. We're not quite there. I'd say after maybe Detroit, we'll do a State of the Union to see who I want, who I don't want. Seems like chat is split. Jackson Dart, Shador Sanders. I mean, we were talking about if Shador falls to Pittsburgh with the weapons and everything they have in place, that might be better than him going top 3 like he was hoping. Going to the Giants, dude. Ooh. You're going to a division against the Eagles, right? Like, not an easy division. I'm not saying that the Steelers division is easy. That's a very competitive division as well. But big market, unnecessary market. I think it'd be good for Shador to go to like a bumfuck nowhere team. Like when Aaron Rodgers went to Green Bay. I think something like that could be good for him. But I don't know, man. But also, I mean, if you're a Giant fan, didn't want the quarterback at pick 3, you get Abdul Carter. So I think if you're a Giant fan, you leave this draft. Let's say it is Shador Sanders, and you leave it with Abdul Carter and Shador Sanders. You're probably like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's see what happens. And obviously the New York Giants did that extra homework on Shador. But smokescreen. That could be extra homework confirming that Shador Sanders is not the guy. So, kind of vibes, Shador or Jackson Dart. I think it'd just be funny. A funny what happens if Dart does go ahead of Shador Sanders. I did not necessarily see that. But I'm incredibly biased when it comes to looking at Jackson Dart. I actually thought there's a lot of like, man, Jackson Dart's really damn solid. And then if you watch Jackson Dart versus the Florida Gators last year, I see a guy that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Jackson Dart versus Florida, he literally like caused them to lose with like some of the worst turnovers you ever see. Yeah, obviously Jackson Dart started at USC, bounced around. I mean, I'm not going to act like there's a gigantic discrepancy. If you said there's no number, start your quarterback, you have Jackson Dart, Shador Sanders. Which one are you starting? It's close. It's not one-sided, I'm going Shador. One side, I'm going Jackson Dart. I think if you go Shador Sanders, you think it's going to translate right away to the NFL. You think he's going to be like the locker room guy, which I think he should get some bonus points in there. What he did at Jackson State, what he did at Colorado. A lot of stuff like that from a locker room standpoint that could work out well. I think if you go Jackson Dart, you think he has a higher ceiling. You think Shador is a modest floor, low ceiling quarterback. Might be as good as he'll ever be. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at Jackson Dart, you might see a guy that could figure it out and be a really nice player. Then you have Brian Daboll and those guys. They got to balance that. These guys, this pick could end up being the deciding factor for that front office's jobs. If they fuck this up with another quarterback, they're not surviving. So if they think Shador's a safer pick, maybe that helps out job security. If they think that they're going to be able to develop Jackson Dart, maybe that helps with job. This is a job security pick for the New York Giants. Let's see what they do. I have no vibes. I would say if I had to guess, this seems like a Jackson Dart pick. But I think I would, as an Eagle fan, maybe enjoy Shador a little more for different reasons. Well, let's see, man. They're running the clock down. 6 minutes. Says the pick. Oh, did Atlanta trade up with the Rams? Atlanta traded up. Whoa. Fuck, man. No, dude. Atlanta's getting Malachi Starks. I'm calling it right now. Fuck. Fuck, they're getting Malachi Starks. I guarantee it.
The New York Giants select Jackson Dart.
Jackson. I mean, welcome to the division, bud. Good luck.
He is going to the division with Dak and Jalen Hurts and Jake Daniels. He is going to be a guy who has every shot in the world to be the quarterback of the Giants. One would think, if not this year, then certainly in future years. What a moment for this kid sitting in Utah right now, going to Broadway to be the Giants quarterback at some point.
Yeah, this young quarterback, Ole Miss, is going to have fun throwing to Malik Neighbors at LSU. LSU, the SEC rival, is going to get along quite well there as they grow up together. This is someone who got better every year. You see the comparison there with Jalen Hurts, and that's what that's about. You're buying into someone who just continues to improve. You look at what he does with these kind of up and down throws, over linebackers, under safety.
Man, that's Malachi. This is Malachi Starks, dude. I can't even properly react to the Giants trading up for Jackson Dart, who, let's see where Dane Brugler. I think Daniel Jeremiah had him as a second rounder. Dane Brugler had him at number 49. He's QB3 in the class. One spot above Tyler Shuck from Louisville. But fuck, man, this has, I mean, I guarantee you, to the bank, live bet this. This is going to be Malachi Starks to Atlanta. Fuck. But also, go Canada! Sidney Brown, baby. Atlanta coming up to take Mike Green. I mean, I hope. Dude, I hope. Vibes, though, Malachi Starks. I mean, these are the next two picks. I think if Starks falls between Atlanta and Baltimore, I mean, I don't know, because the mock drafts, Buffalo could go Starks. I've seen mock drafts take Chiefs going Starks, which I don't know how much of a need that is. Oh, man. Fuck, man. It could be Ezraku. I mean, if I'm looking for more pass rush help for Atlanta, Ezraku could be. But, man, I think this is Jackson. I think this is Malachi Starks. But Jackson Dart, you know, that had to be it. They think, Shedeur Sanders is close to a complete project. Like, or he's done. Like that, he's at his ceiling pretty much. Like Shedeur Sanders is as good as he's gonna get, which I think is valid, like a valid take. And you think that Jackson Dart might not be as the same level that Shedeur is right now, but you think he has a higher ceiling. And let's see if Brian Daboll can get and make the most of his second swing at developing a franchise quarterback. Oh, don't be Malachi Starks, dude. Come on. Let's get a win here. Let's get a win here, baby. What was the trade? I think the trade value also could maybe determine what it is. Classic Rams, though. They couldn't give a shit about their draft picks. Like, first round, nah. Don't want Shedeur. So what is it? Atlanta gets 26 and a third round pick. And the Rams get, whoa. Rams get a second, a seventh, and a first round next year. So the Falcons fucking trade it. Well, I mean, they do get a second and third this year. So it's not that, but wow. Trading a first rounder, no matter what way you cut it, even if you're just looking at it from a 50-year option standpoint. I don't know if you're trading a first rounder for, like, who are you looking at this board trading a first rounder for? Mike Green, I guess, if you're like that check, we're good with the off field and we think he's going to be a great pass rusher. Dane Brugler, number 10 rated player in the class. Are you trading I'll say this. If you told me Philly would have to trade a first round pick next year to get Malachi Starks, I'm good. But also very annoying that this is Malachi Starks. Let's see. Okay. Wow. I mean, hey. Sure. I think that's good value for where James Pierce went. Is it worth giving up a first rounder next year? A little expensive, but again, you know, got damn. There's no way that's good value. But if James Pierce, 10 sacks as a rookie, do you give a shit? Jalen Walker, 10 sacks as a rookie. Like, if they get the same kind of bump that, like, Fisk and Verse gave the Rams.
This close to picking James Pierce at number 15 overall. They have, in fact, done
Wow.
homework on
Ian Rappaport's saying that the Falcons were very close to selecting James Pierce at 15 or whatever the fuck, where they went Jalen Walker. I mean, hey, end of the day, Falcons needed to get pass rush. You get 2 first-round pass rushers. Could probably live with it. But, man, that is expensive. So moving on, we have the Baltimore Ravens. This could be a Malachi Starks. This could be anything. I think Ravens could go pass rush. They can go tackle. Josh Simmons would be interesting. Let's look at the available here. I mean, the big thing that Ravens do, man, they just constantly take the value. Will they? Again, Jesus Christ, what's going on with the knee of Will Johnson? But I think Ezuraku. I think in my predictive mock draft, I had them go Ezuraku. Pass rush. Josh Simmons can make some sense. I feel like a Jahad Campbell, like a utility guy, they'll figure out how to utilize him. Josh Carley on the offensive line could make some sense. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Baltimore. Safety? Starks Johnson? This could be like a hurdle here. Luther Burden. I think there's probably a little too much stylistic overlap with Zay Flowers. Like Zay Flowers, you want him in the slot, and you're going to want Burden in the slot.
I trusted Invisalign because a lot of my peers used the aligners before. Seeing the results now, I can honestly say that I'm even more confident. Confidence is with
Nick Scarton.
be great. Invisalign.
Yep. I'd love that because he's a guy Again, we're going to wait a little bit. He would be one that Again, I've already said, I can't do the crazy, lose my fucking mind at the Eagles pick because there's now an element of respect that, like, if Vic Fangio said Nick Scarton or Trey Amos or, like, some guy that's like, who the fuck? I'm going to defend that pick because it's Vic. He was so right last year. He's in his bag. He has that third eye, Joe Rogan, third eye Vic Fangio when he's seeing these defensive guys. That, like, whoever we pick, if it's offensive line, which would be kind of surprising, or literally anyone on the defense, I'm all right with it.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance.
Now, if it's like I remember that Ola Dejal UCLA guy was like, Philly could get him at 13. Now, I might hate that one. I just don't see the value there. But let's see here, man. I still can't believe Atlanta paid that price. Man, the Rams stay winning.
Yeah.
So that means the Rams have 2 first. Fucking there's how the Rams are gonna get their Matt Stafford replacement. Just start stashing first round picks to go get your quarterback.
Verizon Small Business Days are back. Our experts closer than you think.
Dylan says it's gonna be Mason Taylor and they're gonna trade Mark Andrews. Wow, is that real? Is that something that could happen?
Wherever you are, even on the job,
Hey,
making sure all your tech
let's take a look.
is good to go. Able to
Almost at 300 people in here. Thanks for checking out this professional full-time streamer. Last time we streamed was 364 days ago. And there's so much draft stuff that you chose to hang out with me. Grab a cold one, get your salads in ya. Salud. Rams scare you the most as an Eagle fan, really? Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm gonna say right now, Rams are probably my number 2 team in the NFC next year. Like I'm Philly at 1, Rams at 2, Lions at 3. And then it's just a logjam. Like you can say, like the Niners could bounce back. I think they're gonna have an easy schedule, so they could rack up some wins. I think you could say, Commanders. I'm thinking, I'm kind of just maybe wishfully thinking, sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels, won't be as good. Still playoff contender, but won't be making the NFC Championship game good next year. Obviously, big question mark with the Vikings. What's the fuck's going on there? Green Bay could be good, could be bad, inconsistent. But I think the big 3 are Philly 1, Rams 2, Lions 3. That'd be my power rankings. Rumor is teams are boxing out Howie Roseman. Atlanta overpaid because the Rams didn't want to trade with Philly. Wouldn't that mean that the Falcons would underpay? Like they give him a deal because they don't want to deal with Philly? All right, Picky's in. We're at a spot 2 where I can't scroll any further, so if it does pop up on the site before, I am strictly going to be reacting to the draft stage. My prediction here, Josh Simmons. Damn. Man, Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton. That is a nice. It was wishful to assume he was just going to keep falling. Damn. I mean, I'm not that. Again, I'm going to show patriotism. If this means that we're going to give Sidney Brown a chance, fuck yeah. Still would have been a pick very happy with if he fell to 32. Classic Ravens, dude. Still annoying, though. It's just, I mean, hey, I'll be honest. My disappointment, not crazy high. Like, it sucks. He was in the pool of players. It was never a dream pick for me at 32. I think probably Philly did try to trade up to get him. But he was in the pool of guys I wish were available at 32. Because that just means, like, give me 3-4 guys that I can go to sleep happy with. Depending on these next couple picks, Philly could just be trading out. And we are 4 hours of me waiting for my team to pick. And then being like, oh, we'll have 4 picks tomorrow. And then I'll have to stream tomorrow. Because I'm on the fence if I can stream tomorrow. I mean, that's a good pick, though. I mean, pro-ready player. I think you got, I think the only knock against Malachi Starks is maybe how high is his ceiling because he's not a freak of nature athlete. Maybe he's close to a finished project, which is still very good. Still high, He's kind of guy, like, if we're putting it in Madden terms, like, he'll be like a 77 as a rookie, and, like, he might only ever be an 85. But pick 27, you'll take an 85 every day of the week, especially when you compare that with Kyle Hamilton. And with having him now on that defense, you can get more creative, more wild and wacky with Kyle Hamilton. That's a great pick. It's just classic Baltimore, man. As an Eagle fan, I appreciate everyone has just kind of universally accepted that we are the best front office in sports. But as an Eagle fan, I look at the teams that fucking always are a thorn in my ass come draft time, and the Baltimore Ravens are probably the most annoying team to deal with. All right, so we have Detroit. This is edge rush. If they have no character concerns and Dan Campbell thinks he can buy in, could be Mike Green time. I will say, as an Eagle fan, look at the board of who I want to fall. Ezuraku might be the number one edge rusher that I want. And if this is Ezuraku, I'm getting kind of close to be like, trade back, please. Someone trade up for Shador at 32 if Ezuraku and Jahad Campbell go. There's a chance, but we're going to wait. I think after this pick, I'm going to power rank who's left. Because this could be, and obviously I think edge rusher is a big need for Detroit. So this could be someone that I want. I don't want to gas up someone that's about to be picked. Wow, the New York Giants are picking up Kayvon Thibodeau's fifth-year option. What does that mean? How do you decipher that? Is that to trade him? Is that to try and figure out a way to make it work? I bet you, though, there's a bunch of, like, all the Georgia guys are pissed off that we couldn't get Malachi Starks. I mean, hey, good pick, man. Well done. Who's the biggest kneecap biter on the board? Good question. Let's go see. Kneecap biter? Well, okay, there's a joke that could be made. We're not going to make that joke. We're going to have some class. Kneecap biter. Tuimaleau? Tuimaleau has some dog in him. Jahai Campbell has some dog in him. All right, again, we are going to look not at this site that's right there. We're going to look at the draft stage. I'm going to say not Jahad Campbell or Ezuraku. My eyes are now shut.
With the 28th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle,
All right.
Ohio State.
To win. To win. Talking about Tyleek Williams in relation to the Eagles. Philadelphia has a decision to make whether or not they want to pick up the fifth-year option for Jordan Davis. They don't think Jordan Davis is the guy. Tyleek Williams would be a guy maybe second round. That like you bring him in just in case things don't work out with Jordan Davis. You have your run stuffer to pair next to Jalen Carter. Like the fit. I thought he'd go first round. I know it looks like some people had him more second round, like from 35 to 50 if you're like ranking him. Not a brutal pick. Play him next to a Lee McNeil. Going to be hard to run against. So we have the Commanders at 29. What's this site saying are their needs? Corner, wide receiver, O-line. So this could be Will Johnson, which could be annoying. Like it could be the karma shifting. Because remember the Commanders went Emmanuel Forbes over Christian Gonzalez. Now maybe they get a guy that everyone's overthinking. Maybe the knee thing is not that serious. And then Will Johnson, who a lot of people had as a consensus top 10 pick, falls to the lap at 29. That'd be annoying. I'd say there's like a Trey Amos or something like that. Would be cool. Could be. I don't know if the Commanders got word that Debo's washed, but if you like Debo 5 years ago, you love Luther Burden. Board is falling nicely for the Birds. Malachi Starks was still on the board. I would agree. Walter Nolan was still on the board. I would agree. I would say the board could be worse, but you could see a lot of damage here. But I would say the vibes right now is like I feel like one of Ezraku or Jahad Campbell is going to be available.
Grand entrances need a grand highlight. Toyota. Let's go places.
Check out the new whip.
Tight, fully custom. 40 Bud Lights can fit in there, huh?
As many Bud Lights as it takes.
I don't know what we say for Commanders. I'm seeing a lot of Will Johnson consensus right now. I will give him credit. That would probably be the most annoying pick. Watching this as an Eagle fan. Could go Josh Simmons at tackle. Could go. I think my last mock draft I had them go Josh Connerly from Oregon. My predictive mock draft had that's what it was. Josh Connerly. Got it right here in front of me. That'd make me look smart. Let's see how many picks I got right with my predictive mock draft. I don't think I'm doing so hot this year. So we got Cam Ward right, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Genty, looking good. Tyler Warren,
Where I come from has made me into the player that I am. Project. They have a way to help people out. I hope
not looking great.
everything is achievable, whether you're from a reservation or not.
5. Thanks for liking, subscribing, watching all my draft content. 5 fucking picks right. Gross. There was a year I think I had 17 or 19 was the highest I ever had. I remember one year I picked, and I feel like I was the only human being on earth that had Titus Howard to the Texans. And that's what I'm going to use as the main selling point of watching my draft content. Is I predicted Titus Howard to the Texans one year. We are getting another Pink Slips video. Pink Slips is, I'm going to put this politely, not a priority when I have other stuff that's going to be more visible, we'll say. So Pink Slips is going to be when I have time for it, which last week is just Easter. Easter week, all that shit's been busy as hell. Haven't really uploaded anything. But once we get back to the normal, I'm going to say at minimum a Pink Slip episode a week, if not 2. But now that we're getting out of the draft season, let's go obviously some draft reaction content here. And then we're going to be able to get into the realistic rebuilds. The fallout from this draft, that's going to be the priority. But Pink Slips is absolutely not going anywhere. Apologies on the delay in episodes. It's just, am I going to spend a day making a Pink Slip episode, which gets 7,000 views, or a rebuild that gets 25,000 views? It's a passion project. Picks in for the Commanders. I'd be most annoyed with Will Johnson. I'd be most happy if they go like O-line. And I'd always hate like just the vibes of like, I will give credit where credit's due. How quickly of a turnaround the Commanders have makes you think like, okay, they sold it. Got rid of like the worst owner in sports. Brought in a brand new front office that fucking nailed it year one. And like a Will Johnson pick at 29 like strengthens their case of like they are now a well-ran team, which I would not love those optics. But Commanders pick, my predictive mock draft had Connerly. They could like lineman's what I'm hoping, but I'm thinking Will Johnson. Oh, let's go! 6 picks correct. C4. Josh Connerly to the Commanders. I had that one. Had that one mocked from a mile away. We'll say potentially that could be an annoying pick. Philly showed some interest in Connerly, brought him in for a top 30 visit. So anytime that like you kind of have some mingling between visit players, that could have been one that Philly had high on their board that the Commanders just sniped. But for the Eagles, Connerly's never played guard. If Philly was to draft a tackle in the first round, it would have to be a tackle that they would be like, all right, he's going to be the Lane Johnson successor, but he's got to play guard right away. Connerly's never played guard. So that is kind of, honestly, that could be a great pick for the Commanders. Help shore up that offensive line. But that is a good pick for me for Philly because that would be a pick that I probably would be frustrated with at 32 if he was still there. And they made that pick, and they had the connections publicly that pick could have happened.
Another birth certificate laminated.
That's right. Yeah, my son's going to be sick that day when we're playing that team.
Did he get on the scales that day? Because you know you got to have weigh-ins for those.
That's right. Where's the patch on it? Player, right? So Travis Hunter is the only two players.
Strangest pick so far. I honestly, I could agree with Dallas. Like Tyler Booker. You'd argue is the value there at 12, getting a guard that high. Now they lost Zach Martin. Got to replace that. If they think Tyler Booker's the guy, sure. But I don't know. It's just just shooting the shit. I feel like you could trade back if you wanted Tyler Booker. Could you have got him in the 20s? I mean, where did Donovan Jackson go? Donovan Jackson went 24. So, like, you think that if you would have... I mean, I know it takes two to tango. Maybe none of these teams were wanting to trade. But I feel like you could just have easily... Like, I think Seattle was going Zabel all along. So you could, like, if, Atlanta wanted a pass rusher. If you wanted, like, Green Bay, get them to bite on having to get their wide receiver not fall to them. I feel like Dallas could have traded back and made more value of that pick. That was weird. I mean, Jackson Dart, I guess, is weird, even though there's a lot of momentum of him. Like, I actually think, I think Daniel Jeremiah or Peter Schrager, one of those two popular mocks, had that scenario. The Giants trading him in the first round and getting Jackson Dart. So once that was already out there, it became less of a surprise. I don't know. I would say, yeah. Colson Loveland to the Bears is weird. Good player. How are they going to use him? I assume it's going to work out, but weird. Right? Just paid Cole Kmet. But much like T-Mac going to the Panthers, the Bears at 10, if they looked at their board and said, who is going to help us with Caleb Williams next year the most? They had Colson Loveland at the top of that list, which could valid. Then that pick there is smart. I honestly think the surprise is just the trades. I think the compensation what the Jags traded up to get Travis Hunter was bizarre. I think the compensation that the Falcons traded to get James Pierce, like if we're trying to go like what is the dumbest thing that's happened, I think you have to kind of circle in on what the Falcons paid to get James Pierce. Even if James Pierce is like a double-digit sack guy, like 10, 11 sacks, great. You need that pass rush. I still don't know, man. That's a tough pill to swallow what you're paying there. We got Buffalo pick is in. At least Philly has yet to trade out of that pick. Buffalo. This is it. What's the site saying they should go? Corner, DL, wide receiver. I think in my predictive mock draft, might be able to clean up house. I had Trey Amos, the corner from Ole Miss. Interesting. I mean, I don't know where they could go. CBDL wide receiver. I'm really hoping a team takes Nick Scourton. That is a guy that I'd probably have pretty high up on no thank you right now. So if he's off the board, that's fine. I mean, Luther Burden kind of overlaps a little too much with Khalil Shakir stylistically. But, Curtis Samuel, right? They had Curtis Samuel. I don't know if they paid him decent money, but like that style of player they like. That's Luther Burden, so that could be interesting. They could go Emin Worry at safety. But I would say right now, looking at who they could take to make me feel good, like just get them off the board, Trey Amos or Scourton would be helpful. But they could go Will Johnson. This is gonna be a surprising pick. Maybe not surprising pick, but it could be like who knows. The Giants announced Russ is our starter. I mean, I don't know. Slabo Bacon. Go watch Jackson. It's a bad game. Everyone has a bad day at the office. But Jackson Dart against the Gators last year, and you're going to go, maybe, ease him in a little bit. Oh, we got another, I don't know if it's a Make-A-Wish thing, but always loved it. You know what? I can take time for these ones. Got to make this guy fucking year. Oh, another Make-A-Wish guy. Absolutely. Let's go, man. Honestly, this shouldn't count as these guys' picks. Like, these guys Make-A-Wish dream. They should just have that. Maybe not first round. I guess first round. I'd say that'd be the trade-off. How about we don't make this their Make-A-Wish dream, right? And then just let all third-round picks be Make-A-Wish for like each fan base. Why not? Like, they get something else, because obviously getting announced a first-round pick is worth like the Make-A-Wish, I guess. I don't know. Are we really going to start a debate about the Make-A-Wish kids? I'm here for it. Oh, wow. Looks like Philly traded with Kansas City. If we fucking trade up for... Okay, I'm going to get ready for the rant after this pick. If we trade up for Nick Scouton, I'm going to lose my mind. But also, Vic knows. Got to trust Vic.
With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Harrison. Let's go!
Ooh. Maxwell Hairston. You know what you're getting when you're watching here? Everything's going to relate to the Eagles. Eagles showed a lot of interest in Hairston. I think they met him at the Combine, had a top 30 visit. He could have been in play, absolutely. Why are we trading up? I gotta see what they traded. This is gonna be something stupid, I think. Let's hope Howie didn't get finessed. Wow. Okay, let's get... If you guys get the trade compensation for this before it pops up on the broadcast, please let me know. But Hairston to Buffalo, I mean, 4.2 speed, proven SEC corner. I would have been more than fine. There's my review. If you're a Bills fan, how would I think about it? If he would have went to Philly at 32, maybe with Will Johnson still on the board, I guess knee stuff. Who knows? I'd be like, But good player, man. Great speed, ball hawk. Didn't work out with Kyrie Elam. Did you guys bring back Rasul Douglas? Philly traded 32 and 160. What's 164? Like a 5th round pick? 4th round pick? All right, well, hey, let's go. Philly's on the clock. We're going to record this one. What's going on, everybody? We are in hour almost 4 of our 2025 NFL Draft coverage live show, and the Philadelphia Eagles just made a trade. A 5th round pick is all it cost us to leapfrog the Chiefs for some reason. Looking at the board, pro days have been taking a hit. Or visits. If you're judging Philly, especially for last year, they took Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, both brought them in for visits. Hairston was a guy Philly was absolutely interested in. Josh Connerly to the Commanders was a guy Philly was interested in. Malachi Starks at 27 is a guy the Philadelphia Eagles were interested in. Donovan Jackson got a top 30 visit. So maybe the Philadelphia Eagles board got shot. They're worried about the Chiefs. Now here's my worry. Is like, why are they making this move? They clearly are like, well, maybe 3D chess, thinking that Chiefs could trade to some other team. Like maybe they're not necessarily, because I feel like if they're kind of targeting the same position, Chiefs wouldn't have done this trade. But looking at who's available for the Philadelphia Eagles after this trade up, you have Will Johnson. Surprising that he's here. Philly did homework on him late. I believe top 30 visit. If not, it was like a virtual thing. Word on the street is knee stuff, according to Rappaport on NFL. Again, any corner selection. And I think he's probably the only one. You also have Trey Amos. Philly showed interest in. Amos, I mean, maybe the value's not there for Amos in the first round, but I think with how Vic nailed Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, if he sees another corner, like there's our starting 3 for the next 4 to 5 years, I'm fine with whoever he gets. But, worst case scenario with this trade up, worst case, you have the duality of Mike Green, right? The off the field issues. But I'd hate the idea. Everyone all had the words. Okay, Howie Roseman is literally on screen right now, losing his mind, so he's over the moon. I'm going to say, based off of the reaction I just saw of the Eagles War Room, feels like Will Johnson. Like they can't believe that he fell to them at that spot, and that's just too much value. But back to the breakdown. I think Mike Green, the whole Howie Roseman came out about like the domestic violence, completely off our board. I think just from a pure pick standpoint, maybe not strong vibes around Mike Green. Also, argument to be made, Mike Green, top 10 player in this class. Dane Brugler has him as his number 10. I believe Daniel Jeremiah has him, top in the teens. So a pass rusher that fell to the Philadelphia Eagles, where have we heard that story before? However, the off the field doesn't make sense. I was telling Chad earlier, there was a community mock draft on Reddit, and when the Eagles pick came up at 32, I took Luther Burden. I made the argument with Luther Burden that we weren't going to pick up the fifth-year option for Jahan Dotson. Philadelphia, even with how, on the defense, right, maybe they like Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari more than we like at edge rush. And maybe they don't think edge rush is as big of a priority, even though we know that's what Howie Roseman prioritizes historically. But there could be an argument to be made that, Luther Burden is the most talented guy on the board. He could be our long-term slot wide receiver. He could be the gadget play and just make, ultimate luxury pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's just go get a baller at wide receiver. You have Nick Amenwari on the board. Freak of nature safety. I don't love the tape for as much as someone that pretends to be a scout on YouTube could like a tape. However, with his traits and intangibles, if Vic Fangio was like, I got a plan for that guy. You're giving me a generation. He's a generational athlete. You're giving me a generational athlete, and I know exactly how he's going to thrive in my scheme. I'm just going to come up from the outside and say, I love that pick. If we get Amenwari, I am in because that means Vic Fangio went, yep, the same thing that went off in his head that said Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, those are our picks. And let's get Jalix Hunt, a converted safety at a Houston Christian at edge rush. And now we're thinking that he could be a starter for us next year. And we're always hoping and anticipating that he's going to be a starter. If whatever bag that Vic Fangio is in says, I'm going to be able to make Nick Amenwari work, I'm in. Ezuraku out of Boston College, that is my pick at edge rush. If this is the selection, and we have to address the edge rush, Ezuraku's the guy. I am all in. Born in Philadelphia, grew up in New Jersey, so local-ish kid. Anytime I watched 4 full Boston College games, he was the best player on the field in all of those games. I'm in. Ezuraku, yes, sir. Mason Taylor. Maybe a little rich, but it does seem like a lot of the insiders, a lot of the guys that are highly regarded, have him creeping into potentially a first round. I think Daniel Jeremiah had a quote that a GM he was talking to knows what he's getting in Mason Taylor, a respected GM, which kind of alluded that it was Howie Roseman. And if Dallas Goedert's good as gone, I can live with Mason Taylor, even if it's not personally my favorite value-wise. Josh Simmons, as a complete shot in the dark, could be the best tackle in this class. Stoutland U, sure, why not? Even though I don't think Lane Johnson's retiring anytime soon, he might have to sit and wait. Jahad Campbell, I only mocked Jahad Campbell to the Philadelphia Eagles for my first 5 Philadelphia Eagle mock draft. Now, some of that was before we re-signed Zach Bond. I would love Jahad Campbell. You know what's better than 1 Zach Bond? 2 Zach Bonds. And 1 in Jahad Campbell that you probably have both off ball, have him blitz more. You never know. I think the utility piece is there. Outside of that, Schweisinger's the best off-ball linebacker. Wouldn't hate that. Trey Amos, Philly has showed interest in. Wouldn't be disgusted by that. I do like JT Tuimaleau. He's a popular pick for me to select in the second round. But now we're going to who would I not like? I don't love the vibes of Mike Green, but the ultimate, no. I'm not going to be too pissed. I'm not going to lose my mind over it like the Jalen Reagor selection and JJ or Sega Whiteside or DK would be Nick Scouton. Not a fan. I see a guy that's, at best, a solid run defender. Not a crazy athlete. But I'm not going to lose my mind because if Vic Fangio, who's been in his bag, thinks Scouton's the best guy to kind of take that Brandon Graham run defender first edge rush, it is what it is. But technically, before this pick comes in, the one I don't like is Scouton, if that ends up being it. The one I would love, I just broke it down. Let's see it. Turn the volume up here.
The Kansas City Chiefs have traded.
This cost us a 5th-round pick, so not worried about it. We had 4 of them.
With the 31st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama.
So congratulations.
You know what's better than 1 Zach Bond? 2 Zach Bonds.
In Philly green.
4.5 speed. Fuck yeah, man. Let's go, dude. That'll do. Now that it happened, if I was power ranking, he probably would be number one just off of my track record of I had him mocked to the Eagles 5-6 mock drafts in a row. Again, that was before we re-signed Zach Bond. Oh, I gotta listen to this, dude. Let's go, dude. I'll be honest. I'd say it's a tie. If all things are equal and we went somewhere different, with this being the board, I'd have Ezraku and Jahad Campbell as my top two, and then I'd go Will Johnson, Emin Worry at that next spot. Oh, that's a pick, dude. Because he's one of these guys. I'm not gonna say he's positionless, but he's a guy that you have to have an idea how you're going to want to use him. You're going to have to, you know, is he going to be off ball for you? Is he going to be a pass rusher for you? Are you going to have a plan to utilize him in both roles? You can't just, like Isaiah Simmons with the Cardinals, him out there and hope he figures out. Just a second here. You know what's better than one Zach Bond? Two Zach Bonds. I mean, I love to hear. I mean, right now, poll the room. Eagle fans, Birds Nation. What do we think of Jahad Campbell, dude? Now, why do we have to trade up for him? I guess if I had to throw a slight nitpick, like, were we really worried about the Chiefs? Or like someone trying to trade up with the Chiefs to get Jahad Campbell? But I'm living with the dude. That's as good as you could have asked. Big time. I mean, it's what are we looking for? Check it, the checklist. All right, Howie Roseman, big time successful program, check. Freak of nature athlete, big time RAS score, check.
He's got an off the ball background. He's got an on the ball background. These guys need to be able to do everything. These offenses are going 11 personnel or 12%, and then do everything.
That's all you can say, man. Love that selection. I can't wait to see how Vic Fangio utilizes him. I think this might speak slight volumes to how Philadelphia views Nakobe Dean long term. Bad injury. No one knows when he's going to be ready next season. Maybe, maybe you're worried about paying Nakobe Dean because he's shown he can't stay healthy. But, dude, man, what a chess piece for Vic Fangio on the defense. A. I'm not going to be cheesing giving an A+. That is an A pick. Easy A pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Perfect landing spot for Jahad Campbell. Because literally you're like, well, how's this Swiss Army knife defender going to... Literally, we did it with Zach Bond. And we're going to be able to do it with Jahad Campbell. And I think the mind games that Vic Fangio is going to be able to play... Oh, just a sec. He's talking here.
Nothing will be possible, without the Most High, you know what I'm saying, and my family and my friends, and, just everybody support.
Say something nice about my team.
Mentor me and guided me, throughout my whole journey. So, shout out to everybody back at home, man. I'm coming back home. Philly, y'all know what's up. We got to turn up. We got to get lit.
Oh, local guys from Philly? Or is he one of those New Jersey guys? Either way, dude. Let's go, baby. And, by the way, this is going on YouTube's. All day, second round, third round, those reviews, reactions we posted live on this channel. Day 3 picks, we have a 4th and a 3/5. Those are going to be over on my second channel, More C4, so go subscribe. That's in the video description below. I'll see you guys then. Thank you very much. Go Birds, man! Jahad Campbell, let's go! Man, that's sick, dude. We got Kansas City to round this thing out. We could speak about Kansas City as an Eagle fan as the competition. I think Josh Simmons. I think the potential upside of Josh Simmons would be annoying here because Josh Simmons is a kind of clear-cut first-round guy with no injury. He might be the top tackle. He might be challenging Will Campbell for the first tackle on the board if he did not get hurt. So for that to potentially fall to the Kansas City Chiefs, who we saw in the Super Bowl desperately need to protect their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, would be a little annoying. Apparently, Howie Roseman has been trying to trade up for him since pick 22. I mean, that would make sense for how that room reacted. Like, it feels very... Oh, for fuck's sakes, dude! That's annoying! I think I had that in my predictive mock draft. Josh Simmons to the Chiefs. It's annoying, dude. That is annoying if that works out for them. Wow. So, I mean, who fell? That is annoying. That is. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm very happy with that pick. You probably could have asked for a better selection. So, Will Johnson, knee stuff. Mike Green. I think Mike Green always was going to fall in the first round. Emanwari, Ezeraku. Let me enjoy this as an Eagle fan. I am seeing plenty of players that I would trade up for right now going into... Like, I think it's going to be lit tomorrow. I think as an Eagle fan, it's going to be on point. I see a bunch of guys I would trade up for right now. I would trade up... Oh, they're ending the thing. They're ending the draft. I'm going to have to end the stream here a little bit. And I mean, it's now that this knee stuff, the classic mystery injury that finally gets broken to the media, a knee injury for Will Johnson, that absolutely could cause... I think the only shocking guy, I think Emanwari, for as athletic as he is, to follow the first round, I'm surprised not one defensive coordinator fell in love with him. But he's like a Jahad Campbell. You have to have a plan for that type of player. And if teams are struggling to find that plan, and he's just like, we're drafting an athlete at this point, like that added risk can absolutely cause him to kind of plummet down draft boards a little bit. What is the best pick today? Best pick. I'd say my favorite pick in the top 10 is McMillan going to Carolina, because I think at that number 8 spot, you had to help out Bryce Young. I think for my value pick, I mean, you also just got to talk about Tyler Warren, just fall into the Colts. Like, that's their dream pick. Easy. I mean, Malachi Starks going to the Ravens is such a Raven pick. I love Jahad Campbell going to the Eagles. Like, I don't think there was any like clear standalone. Honestly, pick the draft might be the Rams getting that trade, that haul from the Atlanta Falcons. But man, all that talent plus Shador Sanders going into day 2. I was on the fence about streaming tomorrow. We got the goddamn ads going. Again, not used to live ads while I'm fucking talking, because I don't know, does it cut off when I'm talking when the ads come? And like, you get the replay? Like, does what I say during the ad like get somehow carried over, or does what I say during the ad lost forever in the fucking space unless you have YouTube Prime? What I am going to say is I might have to stream. I don't know. You guys think we should come hang out again tomorrow? I say that every time, and everyone says yes, I'm going to do it. I might have to, dude. I think it's going to be very interesting for my Philadelphia Eagles. We got picks in both rounds. Stay tuned to my Twitter. We're still calling it Twitter. I will post if I'm going to be going live or not. I'm leaning yes. You never know. But I will post well in advance if we're going to be hanging out, so you can bring more cold ones, more salads to come chill. I got to go edit that Eagles draft reaction video to upload on the main channel. So, guys, thank you very much as we just about cross over 4 hours of stream. Thank you for hanging out. A lot of different places you could have watched and hung out tonight, and you chose here. I very much appreciate it. I think we're almost at 400 people in the Eagles pick, so I appreciate everyone just at least coming for that. To plug anything is like, if there is going to be draft content that you don't see on the main channel, I will have some stuff going up on my second channel at More C4, so go check that out if you haven't already subscribed. On our way to 5,000 subscribers over there. Like the stream. Do I become a professional streamer, full-time streamer now? Do I squeeze this into my schedule? I fucking love streaming, dude. When I have the time, it's sick. So it's something that I always want to explore. You never know. I'm going to leave you on that mystery. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, it's your boy C4.